Hey everybody, welcome to Time Capsule here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel, the show where we travel back in time to your favorite years in gaming and speedrun our way through popular or influential games during the time of their release. I am your host, Smooth Operative. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we're going back to the year 2009 for a third time, our first ever Volume 3 on the show, and I am so excited. We've got Uncharted 2 Among Thieves coming up very soon, and later Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. But first, a couple of announcements. If you are watching on YouTube and would like to support our live content, please consider checking out our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/GDQ. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. Please consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ Hotfix content. If you missed any runs from Fleet Fatales or would like to watch past Hotfix broadcasts, you can go to youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick to check out all the VODs. Big shout outs to everyone that watched, donated, and participated in Fleet Fatales last week. We raised over $81,000 for the Malala Fund, and it means so much to so many girls around the world. And all of us at Games Done Quick, thank you so much for being a part of that. West Coast Weekend is coming up December 4th through December 6th. The schedule is now out, and you can go to gamesdonequick.com and check out the games list. AGDQ 2021 Online will be happening January 3rd through January 10th, 2021, of course, and the schedule is out for that as well. Prize submissions are now open until December 26th. But as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, welcome everybody to Time Capsule 2009 Volume 3. Yes, this is a live show, and right now I've got Wildfire here ready to take Nathan Drake on a speedrun journey through Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Hi, Wildfire. Would you like to introduce yourself and commentary?
Hi there, I'm Wildfire011. I am joined today by the wonderful Matt.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, so we are going to be running Uncharted 2. So this game is really broken and really weird in lots of interesting and fun ways, which I hope to show you throughout the run. If you have any questions as we go along, then feel free to post them in chat. We'll do our best to keep an eye out and answer as many as we can. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, new game. I'm going to back out just using a save file. It's faster, but we'll explain why as we go. So timing will start when I skip the first cutscene. So I'll give you a countdown for that. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thanks. Okay, so we are playing as Nathan Drake, an aspiring fortune hunter. Currently, we're in a bit of a predicament right now. How are we going to get out of the situation? Because it looks quite precarious. Just going to have to climb our way out. As we can see, the climbing mechanics are such that you just have to hold forwards pretty much. And when you can jump, that's usually the fastest movement. So we're going to be jumping during climbing as much as possible, like now. And as you can see, his luck's really great, so everything's going to break around him. Every pipe that he touches is just going to fall off. So yeah, he's definitely a great luck charm. The climbing in this game can be awkward at times. If you played this game, then you probably had a few deaths at least to just climbing, which can get quite annoying. But if you know where you're going and which directions to hold, then it's usually quite consistent. But the game can surprise you at times. So coming out will be the first glitch that we're going to be doing. Matt, do you want to explain how that works?
Yeah, so basically at the top of this train, you're meant to go through it and trigger a cutscene, but that's slow. So what Walt's going to do is going to roll off the ledge, and if you push the analog stick in a certain way, you can actually get Nate to float in the air and you can climb on top of the train. But what this means is the camera's basically locked to the train. So he has to use D-pad up to kind of see where he's going and get to the next part. And then once he gets there, he'll be able to regain control of the camera. It's actually kind of awkward to do if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's really awkward.
it saves a lot of time because in this section you have to slow walk. But when you skip that trigger, you don't have to slow walk anymore, so you can actually jump, which is very handy in a speedrun.
Yeah, and also climbing on top of the train skips like an in-game cutscene and like a regular cinematic cutscene.
Yeah, it saves, I think, like 30-40 seconds maybe, something
Around
like
that, yeah. So along with jumping, you're going to see me blind firing a lot when it comes to like moving forwards, and that's because blind fire and jumping are usually the fastest movement. Not the fastest movement when it comes to like normally moving forwards. When you're in combat encounters, then you get combat speed, which is it's faster to use combat speed rather than jumping at that point. So I'll let you know when the first time that happens is, so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Also, blind firing it's not technically faster. It's just more convenient to get consistent movement in terms of turning corners, not jumping against things and stuff like that. But it's
Yeah, it gives you more
the same
control.
speed. Yeah.
When it comes to like skipping cutscenes, like what I just did, you can actually mash triangle, and mashing triangle gets you like in the pause menu for a cutscene. And once you're in the pause menu, triangle doesn't do anything, so you can get into cutscenes like into the pause menus like pretty quickly that way. We're going to do another like glitch coming up here. So I'm going to stand in a specific spot, and then if I jump backwards, he'll climb on top of this this carriage. This also skips another cutscene of like the carriage like falling beneath his feet if you would like to advance.
Don't I always?
Okay, so this is Flynn. He's going to be very useful about 3 times this chapter, and apart from that, he's just going to get in our way and try and push us off ledges if we try and get ahead of him. So we're going to
When were those again?
do our best to steer clear of him.
You can get ahead of him here, but it's kind of risky.
Yeah. Risky, and you have to have, you have to have really good movement.
Right.
So
Must have made a wrong turn somewhere.
in terms of the current chronology of what's happening,
what do you bet
this is
that
like a
will take you right
flashback,
into
like
the
4
boardroom?
months before
From there,
the events of chapter 1. So the game starts like in the middle of where the timeline is, and then
like Flynn.
from chapter 2 onwards, you're playing up to the point of that like hero train. So this is all like in the past, as it were,
Here it comes.
and we're like trying to like steal like a vase from
You ready?
a Turkish museum. It's quite random, but like this game does have a story. We'll probably be like glossing over most of it, but you should definitely play it because it's got a good story.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it already.
This chapter's pretty cool. It's unique in the sense that since a lot of the glitches that we do throughout the run, you don't have the means to do them here. So we do a bunch of other stuff that saves a bunch of time. So this chapter is quite glitch heavy, but not as much as the rest of the game. Like the game will pick up a lot in terms of glitches as soon as we get to chapter 3.
Yeah, this game is very broken.
Yeah, I dropped it down for you.
We'll get to that later. You saw me restarting checkpoint there, so we'll be using restart checkpoints throughout the run to like speed up either companions or like getting like further ahead or like skipping certain cutscenes and stuff. They have like a variety of uses.
There's got to be a shut-off valve around here somewhere.
That particular one, it speeds up Flynn because you need to like boost him up. We're going to be doing another glitch here. So we're going to jump quite precariously over here, and then we're going to roll into this windowsill. And if I did this correctly and then enter photo mode, then that skips another cutscene. Yeah, a lot of any percentage is skipping cutscenes at this point. We'll get to like more sequence breaks as the game picks up.
Yeah, that scene you just skipped is like a forced cover tutorial, kind of, a little bit. Oh no, that's
Yeah.
not. Or it forces you to take cover, but if you mash roll out of it, you can skip it. Also here, basically what it's doing is, in this game, the game checks to see, okay, is there an AI in your way when you're rolling? And if it's like yes, for whatever reason, you can roll through doors and take cover on the other side of them. Don't know why, but it just happens, and he uses that there, and it skips a big big sequence that you can do, and it also makes Flynn not spawn here as well, which saves some time too. Because it also skips a cutscene when you go through the door as well.
Gardiyan ne zaman bitiyor?
As I said, lots of skipping cutscenes.
15 dakikaya kadar bitiyor.
Also, the stealth in this game is, especially on Explorer difficulty, is quite interesting because you can just one punch everyone. You don't really need to
Sessiz.
actually stealth kill them.
Yeah, they're kind of blind as well, the guards here, so you can just run up to them. They don't really care.
Yeah. One thing Wild did there as well is in this game, if you vault over a ledge, if you hold aim or hold D-pad up, which is the inspect button, you can land on a little invisible platform after you vault, and that allows you to either jump or roll off of it, and you roll there to get down faster.
Yeah, I messed up the timing for the roll, so I didn't get a roll, but I
Oh
still,
yeah,
like,
he didn't
grabbed
roll.
the
He
ledge.
tried to roll, didn't get it, but yeah. You get the other. I don't think there's anywhere else that you use that, is there? Apart from that, no.
Okay, it's off.
But he did it before to skip the cover tutorial, because in this area before this one there was a scene that's meant to play out where it's meant to teach you how to take cover, but if you do that you can jump over the trigger and skip it completely.
Hurry. Okay, go. Hurry.
Also, this next section is not fun at all, because it's basically you have to stealth through it, but if you take a specific route you can actually get through it fast without killing anyone, but sometimes it's random and you'll just get spotted for no reason, and it loses like 40 seconds.
Courtyard to get onto the roof.
Bu gece nasılsın? Yorgunum.
So yeah, ideally I don't want to get spotted at all throughout this courtyard.
Kaçmaya çalışma.
Oh, I think I got spotted.
Oh no. Yeah, this is random. If you get spotted here, there's nothing you can really do about it.
Hopefully not. Should be able to get to the cutscene. Fingers crossed. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that can
So-
happen. If you get spotted just before the cutscene triggers, it won't trigger. Unfortunate.
It's okay. We'll just get through this again. It's not too much time lost.
There's nothing you can really do here. If you get spotted, it's just unlucky, because you could take the perfect line, the same route through that courtyard every single time, and sometimes you'll just get spotted. There's nothing you can do.
So yeah, there are like 3 guards here. We're just gonna take them out with a science pistol that we just acquired from Flynn. So that's like one useful thing he did for us. Then he'll you can actually climb up onto this platform here from the cart without having to move it. Normally you'd have to move the cart, but yeah, you can just do that instead.
Yeah, that's a weird climb, because the game basically has to check if you're if you can stagger. If you can't climb that if you're just on the ledge. You actually have to be in a stagger animation or be able to trigger a stagger animation, and then it lets you climb up. It's very weird.
Thanks, mate.
Right, so there's another glitch coming up here. Matt, do you want to explain this one?
Yeah, so in this corner you can actually take cover by the window, and if you aim, you can actually aim through the wall, and if you do it right, you can jump through the wall and get to that platform. Let's say it skips walking around in a little in-game cutscene. It's not that big of a time save, but it still saves time, like maybe like 10 seconds.
O mu? O artık gündüz vardiyasında çalışıyor.
Yeah, another in-game cutscene that you skip there.
Mutluymuş öyle değil.
Most of the glitches we do is just skipping
Yeah,
cutscenes.
Flynn just teleports there also.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Pull me up.
It's like I said, this chapter you can do a lot of small little tricks that add up a lot of time.
Shit, that was close.
There's no like big
Yeah,
skips in this chapter, but like maybe ones that are like 10 to 15 seconds here and there.
Yeah, the overall effect is like a lot of time saved from like individual skips, which are not too big themselves. It does add up, yeah. Okay,
Also,
so
a
the
lot of
sequence of
checkpoint
research.
restarts as well, which either move yourself or your AI forward, which can be very helpful.
As always.
Yeah, so like there I did 2 research checkpoints to speed Flynn up.
If you restart checkpoint there, the rope's already on the thing and you can jump straight to it. I would also like to point out, this game is very, very hard to speedrun. So
I can see your house. Let's get moving.
if Wild does it well, it's very impressive. But this game has a lot of glitches that are very difficult.
Yeah, the skips require like pretty precise muscle memory, so like with practice you can definitely get there. But it does take quite a bit of practice to learn them initially.
Yeah.
Shit. We can't get any closer with the tower lit up like that. What the hell she
Now you just gotta wait for
Come on, Chloe.
about a minute and a half or so. Part's just pretty much on a timer. You have to wait for Flynn to open the gate. Nothing you can really do to speed it up.
Yeah. So hopefully I can get something here. Yep, there we go. So yeah, pay no attention to Nate's feet. They're definitely not doing anything weird.
That looks illegal, sir.
Also, Flynn loses his like protection from the trank gun. So like usually you can't shoot allies, but when he's in that animation, he loses that, so you can just shoot him.
Ladies first. Ah, cute.
Yeah, so we're nearly at the end of the chapter now. We just gotta run to the exit. And then we get to the juicy stuff, the actual good part of the speedrun.
Damn it, Flynn.
Hemen çıkışları kapatın.
So in terms of the game's story, Flynn kind of did a 180 on us, and he just betrayed us. So now like we have to get out of the museum all by ourselves. So we're gonna enter the sewers because that's probably the best place to go. There's like a specific jump you can do there to like avoid landing on the stairs, but I kind of messed it up. But yeah, it's not like a massive time loss or anything.
Gotta reset, dude.
Gotta reset, yeah.
Hold the jump.
See ya, suckers.
Okay, and that was chapter 2. So now we're into chapter 3. So this is where the game really gets quite broken because we have access to the journal. So yeah, Matt, do you want to explain why that's so important?
Yeah, so the journal in this game is it makes this game very, very, very broken. So one of the basic things that you can do with a journal is if you have a gun equipped and you pull out the journal while moving, Nate carries on moving while he's pulling out the journal. And in this animation, you can actually float off of ledges and walk a couple feet. It's not a big deal. It does allow you to do a couple skips, but we can also use this to our advantage. And after this fight, Wild's going to do a buck launch, which basically what you do is if you do that thing where you have a gun out and you press journal on a ledge, like right on the edge of a ledge, you can actually launch yourself into the air instead of just walking in a straight line. You can go upwards instead, and that allows him to skip going around after this fight, which you'll see him do soon. It's actually pretty easy, but there's a lot of variables to the book launching and stuff, depending on like how long you hold the stick for before you press journal. It's kind of awkward to get down fast, but he's going to do that.
Wait, is there someone alive? I swear I killed that guy.
The damage in this game is also very weird as well.
That guy was in a very weird location. He's never usually that far to the right. Anyway. So yeah, this is the first like piece of journal tech that we're going to be doing. So yeah, if you stagger and then move towards the stagger, you can actually get height, like Matt said. So we're going to use that to like skip enemy encounters in this area and in the next area.
Yeah, he's going to do a journal extend here, which is just walking off of a ledge, pressing journal, which allows you to go a few feet extra. I don't know how this got past QA, but it did.
Yeah, so that can happen where like you don't get enough distance. It's not common, but it does happen at times.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
That trick's actually it can be quite awkward if you do it at the wrong spot. You can die.
Because yeah, this game has fall damage where if you are too high and then you try and like jump down from like a long height, then he'll die like if you're like even a little bit too high for him to like take the fall. Okay, here coming up, we're going to do a zip. So a zip is basically the same as a journal extend, except you do it around a corner and it like sends you flying off around the corner like that.
Yeah, like when you soft lock yourself, not soft lock yourself, when you press the journal against the wall, if you're pushing against it, you kind of keep momentum from pushing against the wall, and you just go really fast, really far, which is going to become a lot more useful later on when we do another major glitch, which I assume Wild will get me to explain very soon when he gets there.
Yeah, it's coming up quite shortly. Also, the way that I went there, it's like kind of a side path that you're not meant to go like normally. So it's convenient that the developers left those side paths in there, like which
Yeah,
we
that's
can use
obviously
in speedrun.
there's a treasure on there which you would usually get, so it's nice and convenient that it is useful for any percent.
Yeah. So another glitch here. We're gonna like avoid a cutscene trigger, which will take us into like a combat encounter. So down there, off to the left, is like there's supposed to be like a massive fight, with like loads of enemies, but we're just gonna avoid all of that. Also going to be using blind fire and jumping throughout this area to get through as quickly as possible. So yeah, Matt, do you want to explain airwalking now?
Yeah, so airwalking in this game, it uses the journal again, and what happens is if you switch weapon, and if you press the journal in the middle of the animation of him putting a gun away, it just soft locks you. And if you do that while trying to do a journal extend while walking forward, you just airwalk. You just keep walking and you get soft locked. But conveniently, if you pull out a grenade right before you press journal, you can hold a grenade and use that to blow yourself out of the airwalk, which is very useful. So he uses that to skip going into the tomb.
Yeah, there's like a cave that you're meant to like go into and then do like a few tasks in there. Yeah, we skip all of that by just going straight to the end of the chapter.
And coming up is probably one of the hardest skips of the game and probably the longest airwalk you actually do.
Yeah, definitely the longest airwalk.
2.5 minutes maybe, or 2 minutes, something like that.
Around 2.5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'll let Wild explain stuff, or unless he wants me to explain it when he gets there. He's still got to do some stuff first.
Yeah, so we're going to be like running away from this truck. You have to shoot it, otherwise it runs you over. Also, if you roll there as the truck lands, then you can actually avoid like a small animation of Nate catching his breath. It enters into this cutscene like as soon as possible.
Okay. The old market. Ought to be this way. Crap.
I should also mention that in casual play, the journal is like quite useful because it's got puzzle solutions. Because this game has like a bunch of puzzles. We haven't encountered any so far, but they'll be coming up like in the chapters to come. And it's also got like drawings and like scribbles that Nate's done. So yeah, it's quite nice as like a piece of character building for Nate. Okay, so we're gonna kill these guys. You need to grab 2 grenades from them.
Okay.
Now we're gonna do a journal launch up here. You get a good one, then you can grab that that roof, but you don't need to. Okay, I'm gonna like line up with this roof, and I'm gonna aim at that sign. And if I did this right, which I might have, this might be this is too far right. Okay, so you want to be walking at a very specific angle. If you're like even a bit too far left or right, then it won't work because you won't be going like where you need to be going. So yeah, I'll like usually this is where you can lose a lot of time without really making a mistake as such. It's just that the game is quite sensitive when it comes to your inputs and like even moving the left stick a little bit to the right, which I think I did again. Yeah, it's too far right also.
These airwalks are actually quite hard to do, especially this one because it's so precise. Like the way I would do it is I aim more left because most of the time I end up getting too far right of an airwalk, so I aim more left. But you can aim straight if you want to try and get a straight one. This game would actually be very good on keyboard and mouse because these are based on like where you're holding the stick forward, because obviously since it's an analog stick, it can sway left and right quite a bit. Kind of hard to get it to go in a straight line.
Okay, that should be good, I think. That looks like a decent angle.
That should be
okay.
fine. Oh, yeah, so now he's going to airwalk for a couple minutes. He's basically going to skip from... This is the start of chapter 5. He's going to end up at the end of chapter 6. He's going to skip basically 2 whole chapters with this one airwalk. Which saves a hefty chunk of time.
Yeah. It like places you like at the end of chapter 6, so it's like basically 2 chapters skipped. It's a lot of gameplay that you otherwise would have to do. There's also going to be like a few pauses that we have to do to let the area load in, because we need buildings to push us in certain directions. So when the screen goes black in like a bit, I'm going to wait for like a few seconds and then pause. For like a few seconds, like so. Can unpause now, I think. Yeah, okay, that's good. So yeah, we avoided that building to the right. It hasn't like loaded. So we're meant to end up in a building, so like when the mountain in the background disappears, then we can unpause again, and hopefully we should be inside the hotel. Okay, cool. So yeah, the grenade knocks us out of the airwalk, so we can do it again.
Oh yeah, in this game,
Now we have to do another.
If the grenade knocks you out of an airwalk, for whatever reason, once you press journal again without swapping weapons, you will soft lock again. So we just do another airwalk straight away without having to swap weapons. It's very convenient.
Take a tactical death there, to just play it safe and hit the checkpoint for sure. Otherwise, if you try and jump to the left, you can die trying to make that jump. So I'd rather not risk that.
Yeah, it is a little faster, but if you die there, you have to do this all over again, which is very slow.
Trust me, I've lost runs to that before. It's not fun.
That saves. How much time does that save? Maybe like 10. I don't know. It saves a lot of time. Now he's going to be triggering chapter 7 in a second. And then after the fight he's going to do another airwalk, but he's going to do a zip with it. So you can combine zips and airwalks together. If you swap weapons and push up against the wall and then press journal, you can zip airwalk, which is going to be used a lot throughout the run as well. But this is the first instance where we do a zip airwalk.
Look out!
Yeah, you can combine different uses of journal tech, like zips and airwalks, and like book launches and airwalks as well. Excuse me, good sir. Thank you.
He's going to use it to skip across the water here and not do it. And it's also great if you listen to Jeff's dialogue, because he's like, how are we going to get across? And you're just flying across. Right?
Great.
How are we gonna get
like this, Jeff.
There's a ladder on the far
There
side.
you go. So yeah,
So that actually saves a lot of time. Reset checkpoint, puts you in the fight.
Yeah, so the Uzi is really good, so we're going to use it as much as possible. I'm also going to grab an extra grenade here for safety for later, and then we can use the turret on these last few guys.
Okay, we're on.
Are you going to do the zip here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
there's
can-
another zip airwalk coming up.
Pretty much.
See anything up there?
Also
Only
here
takes a
you can
couple
like
seconds.
This way.
yeah, here you can like jump across that railing. Otherwise you have to shimmy like that across the whole thing. Slow.
Pretty good. Okay.
So yeah, another zip airwalk here. It gets us all the way across.
You just skip
So yeah,
walking.
Yeah. As I said, like there are puzzles in this game. So this room is like one big puzzle. We're meant to be like, we're meant to like push these hands on this statue into like specific locations. So we're gonna do this one first. It's like it's faster to do it in a specific way. And then we're going to zip airwalk across here, like this.
So there he combined a book launch with an airwalk as well. So yeah, you can, like you said, you can combine all this book launch tech or the journal tech all together. And there we did a book launch with an airwalk, which allowed him to go upwards and airwalk at the same time, which is also going to be used a lot. And he's going to use it again coming up very soon in this next area as well. Skip some stuff.
There's like an underground area that we're going to go to, and going to be doing a lot of blind fire there. And then like towards the end of it, there's going to be another zip airwalk or regular airwalk, depending on how my fingers are feeling.
It's a key.
If they cooperate, we'll see.
Well,
Yeah, he's going to try and do a strat that only saves a couple seconds, but is kind of difficult to do.
Say
A lot of this chapter is just using this dagger in certain locations to activate certain triggers.
do anything?
So yeah, this is the first instance that we're using that.
The water's going down. And
Also another checkpoint restart coming up.
I found the door it opened. We've done it.
Chloe, you did nothing. I did everything
what do you think? You game?
Ladies first.
to
If you say so.
make ourselves like get into the doorway as quickly as possible.
God, I'm not claustrophobic.
And as I said, we're going to be blind firing through this whole tunnel area.
You know, it's actually kind of romantic down here.
Also, when it comes to movement on stairs, if you're going downstairs, usually it's fastest to jump down them. When you're going upstairs, you want to be rolling and then jumping, because rolling is faster than the regular walking animation.
All right, I'm coming.
Like if you try and blind fire upstairs, you're just going to go very slowly. It's not like Uncharted 1 where you can blind fire up them. It's faster in Uncharted 1, but it is not in this game.
Yeah,
Which is
the different
unfortunate.
Uncharted games have like specific movement tech for each of them.
Okay.
This is, I think, bad. Oh, okay, I got the really weird way of getting that zip airwalk. So yeah, there's like a trap that you're meant to like fall into there. You can actually avoid falling into it if you just airwalk across. Gonna do another upwards book launch airwalk rather, to get up here. And then, so this whole area here is another puzzle. If you get over there and then drop down from here, you actually skip half of the whole area. If you restart checkpoint after, you can move again here, because the game thinks that you've done half of it, when you actually have only just done like a single airwalk.
Is this room is just one big puzzle?
Yeah.
There are reflectors up here.
And you
Game has
can't
like,
skip it, unfortunately.
Adjust the other reflector.
I'm on it.
yeah, you can adjust those reflectors like early, and then get them into position, and then Chloe will take care of the rest.
Hey, I think we're getting close.
I assume you're not going to do this airwalk here?
Indeed, I'm not going to do the airwalk here. So there is an airwalk you can do here to like skip climbing up onto the daggers. It just like gets you on top of the third dagger without having to climb.
It looks like the blade opened up.
It's like
It's
kind of
hard.
awkward. Yeah.
And it only saves
That's
like 8
specific.
seconds, so if you fail it once, it's not even worth doing, so...
Yeah, I never got the timing for it as well, because you have to be moving upwards. So you basically, the way moving upwards in airwalks works is like if you're not doing a book launch upwards airwalk, then you can gain height on airwalks if you like not going at full speed. So like if you're going slower than full speed, then you can like gain height, which is what you need to do to get that airwalk. But that's kind of awkward in terms of timing. Why am I randomly shooting? Because it's faster to like be blind firing than using the regular walking animation.
And
Need
jump.
to adjust that other reflector.
Yeah.
On my way.
Yeah, so
That's it.
there's an area that Wald's going to go to in a second. He's going to trigger a cutscene which ends this level. But that cutscene doesn't spawn until you put in this last dagger, so that's why we can't skip this area, unfortunately. Or we could just go straight to the end, but you can't. Can we explain the cover clips?
Yeah, go for it.
So you're going to do a skip here where if you take cover, low cover, and have a pistol equipped, if you aim away from it and move left or right and then press circle, you can actually clip through the wall, and he's going to do that here to basically get down to the bottom platform early instead of using the there's like a tunnel you would climb down through the mouth, but you can just skip doing that.
Over here.
Yeah, so we climb back through the way that you would have gone down in, but we just skip going down through it because it's a bit quicker. And he's going to use that again later on as well. This game has a lot of different glitch tech that you can do, and there's a lot of glitch tech as well that isn't actually used in a run as well.
Yeah, so this chapter is all like one long fight sequence. We're going to be ignoring most of the people here. We're going to be like taking out anyone specifically in our way. So like these guys, for example. We're going to hope we don't get into melee combat with anyone, because that's really slow and it actually does quite a lot of damage even on Explorer.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than getting punched by one of the enemies in this game.
Yeah, especially this guy. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, you don't actually have to kill these enemies here, but if you don't, you're probably going to die. So it's just convenient to shoot them while you're walking past.
Oh, oops. Right. I'm gonna grab that guy's pistol because we're gonna need to do some long range combat, and the Uzi isn't the best for that, so the pistol's more convenient.
Yeah. You could use the AK, but it's also not as accurate. The pistol at long range in this game is insane. So he's going to use that later on as well with a pistol to shoot things at long range in a train yard. That's not coming up yet.
There they are! Stay down!
So yeah, you just gotta take out all these guys. Don't know if that guy died. He did not. Okay, cool. And that's the last guy.
Heads down.
Yeah, sorry about the lag, guys. Not quite sure where that's from.
All right, buddy, let's go.
So Jeff got shot.
Come on.
Big sad.
Donate.
Yeah.
Actually,
Can you say something about
Wildfire, if you want to find a good stopping point, perhaps we could stop for a moment and try to fix some of these lag
Yeah,
issues.
sure. Here would be a
Okay,
good place
sure.
to stop.
Okay, cool. And if everyone will be patient, we will be back in just a moment.
Sure thing.
Capsule here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Apparently, this last go around, none of you could hear me, but hopefully you can hear me now, and hopefully everything is set to go with Wildfire's game. So, Wildfire, if you'd like to continue Uncharted 2, we can start the timer again.
Sure. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, let's get the timer going in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, throughout this chapter, basically Jeff's been injured, so we need to like basically escort him to safety.
Come on!
There is not too much to do here, but there is something that you might have noticed me doing already. Matt, do you want to explain what that is? What the small like strat is here?
Yeah, so in this section, basically Jeff kind of like staggers and you have to pick him back up, carry on walking with him again. But if you tap aim every couple seconds, that resets his animation, so he'll never stagger. I think if you leave it for about maybe 7 seconds, he'll stagger, something like that. If you just keep tapping aim, he won't. Which is a nice, useful time save, and the only real tech in this section, sadly.
Yeah, just got to make our way through.
That explosion is actually based on Chloe's position as well, so you want to make sure she's ahead of you and don't block her.
Unfortunately, Chloe tries to block you as hard as she can. When you're going up these stairs, like now, she was just giving us a little block.
Yeah, these stairs aren't fun.
This ever, you think I'd known you longer, huh?
Yes, this is the PS4 remastered version that I'm playing on.
Son of a bitch!
So technically the game was released on PS3 in 2009, but the majority of speedruns take place on PS4 because no one really runs the PS3 version. There are like some differences between the versions, but it's preferable to play on PS4. I kind of messed up a little skip that you're supposed to do there. If you roll before like jumping off that ledge, then it skips like that slow-mo jump that he does. But yeah, I kind of messed up the roll.
Gotcha! Come on!
By the way, in the train yard fight, do you do the way I do it? Like killing those specific enemies? If you want, I can explain that. It's kind of hard to explain while doing it.
Go for it.
So he's going to do a skip here. So you need to get a grenade from this guy by stealth killing him. And then get a pistol. And you can then do a upwards airwalk to skip doing this entire section. But if you need to get that grenade before you kill them all, because if you don't and you fail this, you won't have the grenade to do it again.
Yeah, I've written Jeff also. So in memory of Jeff, what we're going to do, we're going to use this for the rest of the run.
Jeff Poggers. Best character.
Yeah, Jeff lives.
Okay.
Yeah, so coming up is probably the most technical fight in the entire game, in terms of how it works, and I'm quite proud of myself for figuring out how it actually works, because it's kind of awkward to, because for the longest time we used to just do it and hope that it would end fast, but then I grinded it for a couple of days trying to figure out how it actually worked. So basically, what he's gonna do is when the train crashes, he's going to get up and there's going to be a shotgun guy to the right. You have to kill him, and then there's going to be two enemies with orange hats. These orange hats are very, very useful. You need to kill the enemies with the orange hats on. So he's going to look to the right. There's going to be a shotgun guy. He's going to kill him, kill the two enemies with orange hats. Then he's going to look left. There's going to be three enemies that spawn. No, there's going to be two enemies that spawn. Kill them.
Assholes are gonna make me miss my train!
And then another wave will spawn on the right. You kill a guy in a tower, and then you kill another shotgun guy, and then one more guy with an orange hat, and then that's it. You have to kill the guys with the orange hats, and then you kill these three, and then that's the fight done.
That's fight done.
Those orange hat guys are very, very important to kill. If you don't kill them, the area won't progress. And you can do this fight really quickly as well if you know how to do it.
Train's gone, Chloe's on it, Elena's nowhere to be
It saves a lot of time.
So yeah, as you can see, like Elena's appeared with the car. So what we can actually do, we can like jump out of the train carriage and then run into the car, and that activates the cutscene. Do you want to explain train skip, Matt?
Oh yeah, okay. So Wald's gonna do a breach, like a cover breach clip here, where he's gonna breach off of this ledge by shimmying in the cover, and basically what's going to happen is he's going to float in midair on top of the train track, but the train's going to keep going, and this entire section is on a loop. So what's going to happen is once he's floating in the air, the entire train's going to come back around, and while we're floating, we're actually going to hit a checkpoint at the front of the train, which skips to the end of the next chapter, and then if we hopefully wait a couple seconds, the final cutscene will trigger, and we can skip this entire train section. So yeah, once he clips off, he's just going to kind of float in the air.
Yeah, there we go.
So now he's floating. Are you going to aim?
Yeah, so I'll aim in a second. So as you can see, like the camera's locked onto the train. In a moment, what's going to happen is the camera's not going to know what to do, so it's going to start moving around. It's going to get very motion sick. So instead, I'm just going to be holding aim, and it resets the camera to where we're at. So we're here just like chilling on top of the train tracks. If I was to move the left stick at all to try and move, then that would kill us because it would like take us out of the cover breach state and we'd like land on the tracks and that kills you. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that stick alone completely. We're just gonna be just over here, I guess, just for the next 3 or so minutes. Yeah. So this is like, as Matt said, this whole train section is on a loop. So the train does come back this way eventually. And so this chapter and the next chapter are all on the train. So you hit the trigger for the end of chapter 14, which is the next chapter, and that takes you to the end of the whole train sequence. So the train sequence itself is like one of the most like acclaimed like parts of the original game. Like most people like the train quite a lot, but for speedrunning, it's quite annoying to like jump around on the train and like have to deal with all the enemies. It can get kind of frustrating, like jumping off the train randomly when the game doesn't think that you want to move forwards, but instead like says, no, I think you moved like a bit to the left, so we're just gonna throw you off the train. So in like No Major Glitches runs, it can be a bit of a pain, and also in All Treasures runs, it's a bit of a pain as well. Actually, it's more of a pain in All Treasures because you have to play on a harder difficulty for that. But yeah, in this category, it's not really a problem at all.
This section is very long. You just
if anyone has
wait like 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. It's actually more like 4.5 minutes. You have to sit here and just wait.
Yeah, to give you an idea of what the train's like right now and like what the camera will be doing, I'm just gonna release aim for like 5 seconds to let you know why I'm holding aim. So yeah, this is what happens if you like leave the camera how it is.
Yeah, the camera. Basically, the camera's meant to be forced on the train, and since the train is so far away, the game gets very confused and it's trying to like force it back to Nate and then back to the train, back to Nate, back to the train, and it just makes it flail all over the place. So
It's looking very Pokemon Snap.
If anyone has any questions, also now would be like a great time to get them in.
I had a question for you, Wildfire. Like,
Sure thing.
What made you get into Uncharted 2 specifically as a speedrun?
So the first game that I ran was The Last of Us, and that's also produced by Naughty Dog. So I was looking at other like Naughty Dog games, and like if anyone was running them, and I'd also played Uncharted for a long time, and that was one of my favorite games also. And like at the time that I started like looking into Uncharted speedruns, I think Matt was one of the runners who I was watching, and it was really like impressive to see all these tricks and glitches. And yeah, I just thought, why don't I give a go and like try and learn what I can. And then from there, I just learned the route from there. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
How long have you been running, or speedrunning in general, I guess?
Around 2 years now, so not too long. I know like a lot of runners have been around for longer, so I wasn't really involved in like the initial stages of like strat discovery or like learning the glitches or anything. But yeah, I've been around for a bit now.
Nice.
And yeah, the community is like really, really nice and welcoming. So if anyone is interested at all in Uncharted runs, then feel free to join the Discord or like have a look on speedrun.com page as well. And yeah, sorry, were you going to ask something else as well?
Well, I don't know if I have time. The train is here, so I wasn't sure.
the next chapter is kind of boring anyway, so you might as well go.
Yeah, go for it if you have a question.
I guess I wondered kind of, so I've never actually played through any Uncharted games casually. There seems to be quite a lot of trains in this one specifically. Would you say that that's like the main theme here for this game as opposed to the other Uncharted games?
So I guess like this is all like one train like continuously. So like we come back to this part now. So here we were in chapter 1 and like we're doing all this climbing and trying to survive on this train, and the game makes you do that again. So I guess like it is kind of a theme-ish. I don't really know if I'd say it's a theme as such, but Yeah, there are a few chapters where you got to deal with trains, and I guess it's like one of the unique things about UT2.
Yeah,
Someone asked how I
fun.
lost all that time in the last chapter. So basically, if you look at the timer on the top right, the record time is kind of like not very representative of like if I'm actually losing time, because those splits, well, they're not really splits, but those times are from when I did a run with fast motion on. So that's like automatically like a lot quicker than doing a regular speedrun. Use fast motion or any other New Game Plus tweaks when you're doing normal 80% or no major glitches.
Man, I'm so tired of climbing shit.
So yeah, if you
Also, he will
think
not be
that's
doing the skip again here.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're not supposed to do train skip again here because you have to trigger this cutscene coming up in a second. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck.
Some people, mainly myself, have been known to not pay attention and just do it anyway.
It's easy to forget like which chapter you're in. To be fair.
If you reset so much in this game, you just get used to being in chapter 1. So as soon as you see this scenery, you're just like, oh, I've got to do that skip again. And it loses, if you try and do it, it loses a lot of time. So he's going to do some fighting to kill some enemies. Pretty easy to do this fight. It's not that technical. And there's a couple things you can do to speed it up as well. So he needs to get a grenade from that guy he stealth killed there. Which he's going to use to blow up the tanker at the end, which hopefully if he throws it at the right point at the right time, he'll be able to blow up pretty much all the enemies that spawn from behind it, which is very useful.
So yeah, we're going to pick these guys off as they jump off the train. There we go. And yeah, the grenade's going to be used here, so I'm going to throw it there. It should be okay. This guy's still alive. And that guy. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, some of
Ideally, it
them
will take out
survive,
all of them.
You got to kill 3 big brutes. And then we get to the most boring chapter of the game, which is 16. It lasts for about 50 seconds. And just walking, talking, rolling.
Yeah, there is one trick you can do here. So you saw me just roll there. You're not actually meant to be able to roll, but if you use D-pad up or inspect mode, that lets you roll if you like time it with the rolling input. It's kind of specific. Yeah, it's not too difficult to do.
Explain 17 skip.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so he's going to try. I say try because it's probably not going to work. But there's a skip coming up in this next chapter, which is the hardest in the entire game. It's completely random. You can sit there for like 5 hours trying to get it and you won't get it. But basically, he's going to push himself against a rock. And if you're very lucky, this rock can then launch you into the abyss. And hopefully, if you get the right angle, the right height, the right distance, you can end up at the end of chapter 17. And it's very random.
We won't spend too long on it. I just want to see if I can get a launch to show you what the basic principle is. I don't expect to actually get the skip itself. So yeah, I'm going to set it up by like jumping against this wall. And if you like move into it, the game will give you like a lot of momentum like that. And you can use that to actually get launched if you build up enough momentum. I'll give it like 1 or 2 more goes.
He's basically just trying to get the launch just to show it off because it is kind of cool.
Come on. Okay, so I line it up very specifically. There we go. That's a launch. Yeah, that was a very fast launch. So he's like gone really far.
Yeah, that's too fast for the skip.
Yeah, so I'll just show you like the area like where you load in. So ideally, I'd be like further forward. He's like quite far back. Yeah, if I was like further forward, then I'd be possibly in like a good position. I'm
you
also
need to,
like, way
you
too
need
fast
to
to
launch. Really
yeah, so you want to be like
specifically.
in that direction there. That's okay.
And also,
unexpected. So
only the top 3 runs do it, and third place run, which Wald has now, he only did it the other day, and now he's ruined the game for himself by doing it.
I've actually ruined the game for myself.
If you do that skipping a run, it's just you have to do it from now on. It's a PB, and it's not fun.
Man, there's no way we're getting across
Not
there.
fun is a very mild way to put it.
You got there.
It's infuriating. It makes me hate
it's
my
really.
life.
Yeah, that was the launch. So
Yeah, good luck, pal.
that I got to
Also,
show.
I should point out that skip saves about 5 minutes, 4.5, 5 minutes if you get it.
Yeah, it saves a ridiculous amount of time, which is why you have to do it if you get a PB with it.
I hope you know where you're going, buddy.
Also, if you bump into Tenzin like on the way down on this ladder, then he will push you off to your death. So stay clear of him.
Yeah, if you get ahead of him as well, it doesn't save any time because you have to wait for him to go through this gap first, or you can't get through it. You
Exactly.
have to wait anyway. It's better just to be safe.
So yeah, if you, as Oz said, if you look at the record time, that's 104. That's how much time it took to like beat this whole chapter with the launch. And that was like a first try launch, so it saves quite a significant amount of time.
Yeah, if he does this chapter fastest, he should finish it in about 6-ish minutes, I think, on the current timer, something like that.
Around that, yeah. It's like 6 to 6.5 minutes.
I honestly can't remember. I don't do this chapter anymore. I have to do the other skip.
Yeah.
Don't remember. Yeah, there is, even though he isn't skipping this, there is some cool tech you can do during this chapter as well. Some little skips here and there.
Mm.
Actually, I think there's just one.
There is one. I'm not going to do it. Sorry, Matt.
Wait, are you talking about the ladder skip?
Yeah.
I can't believe this. I can't believe you've done this to me.
Sorry, Matt. Okay, I'll like try and show it once, but like I never practice it because I barely ever get it. Yeah, I'll try and show it once. To, like,
Let me give you a tutorial mid-run so you can try and do it real quick.
Hello.
You can. You meant to. Tenzin's meant to boost you up to climb a ladder. You can just skip that entire scene of him boosting you up by doing a glitch where, in this game, when you press triangle prompts, you can clip into stuff, and you can use that to clip a little bit up a rock and then climb from that rock onto the ladder and skip it. It's actually really easy, so I'm very surprised that you're not.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus there.
No problem.
Denton, come on.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, well, I didn't get it. It's okay. But just let Tenzin boost this
I'll
up.
give you a boost.
So you're meant to get a bit of height once you like hit the triangle prompt. And that lets you like reach the ladder without needing him to boost you up. But
It only saves a couple seconds. It might be like 10. It's not that big of a deal.
yeah.
Actually, more like 15.
Okay, thanks for trying to make me feel better, dude.
You're doing amazing.
Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
So yeah, I'm going to be like kind of
But
careful on these
this-
jumps because I have like died here before because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, if you die here, you have to boost. Tenzin has to boost. No. You start where Tenzin boosts you up.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'll catch
Kind
you.
of slow. Also, if anyone's played this game casually, you may know that this next rope is very notorious
Tell me one, pal.
for being. How do I put it? It doesn't work the way you would think it would work. You'd think if you swing on a rope and the further you swing and then jump, the further you would go, but that's not how this rope works. You actually have to jump off it early to get more distance. So if you play this game casually, you might have died a lot here trying to get across this gap. Kind of awkward.
Yeah, this rope is the worst. Actually, the worst.
Yeah. You don't want to jump at it either. You want to just walk into it as well, because if you're higher up on it, it's harder to make the jump.
We're even.
This area is really cool though. The way they like designed all the ice and platforming. It's
Yeah.
quite fun to get through.
What did this? This. What did this?
The pool wolves.
Yeah. Come on. Tenzin, we gotta get moving.
This next area has probably the easiest skip in the entire game.
Yeah. When you see it, you'll be like, "What? That's a skip, really?"
We won't even tell you. You can just try and guess for yourself what skip we did.
What was that?
Also, yeah, nothing to see there. That was like nothing, just the wind.
All right, just stay
That was
here.
not a big monster at all.
Wait.
Absolutely.
And we're going to skip the part that introduces you to that monster. Because who
So yeah,
wants to
if
do
you were
that?
to get 17 skip, then this would be like the area that you get launched to. So you'd end up here.
Also, him rolling up that rock, that was saves like
Yeah, that was just
a lot of
scary.
time. And I just can't believe it works. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this game was QA tested very well. So now that we have a gun, we can actually do journal tech again. So we're going to be doing a lot of tech in the next chapter, which we're going to restart checkpoint to get to in a second.
This next chapter is also, well, it used to be very notorious in the speedrun. It's a lot easier than it was now, but
yeah, and this
still can
also
mess
has
up
the
runs.
most recently found skip as well. It's like barely like 2 weeks old. This skip that we're going to do now.
yeah.
So we're going to jump to Tenzin's side of the area. Like Tenzin's meant to come this way and like do a bunch of stuff here, but we're going to just hijack his side. We're going to get in this corner, and then we're going to do a diagonal zip around that corner, and then jump out of bounds here. Completely intended gameplay. Going to jump there. I'm going to like be a bit careful here. Hang off this ledge and then go all the way to the left. Going to aim in a specific spot. So yeah, we're going to do a downwards journal extend there. You need to lose some height, otherwise you will die from fall damage. Actually, no, you just don't make the jump. Also, that was precarious. But
you
yeah,
nearly died then. That was
I didn't need to quit. Why did I quit?
But you quit to the menu. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. If you're not paying attention, you can actually quit to the menu. If he was using a save file, it would have been fine, but
It's fine, I'll just use it from chapter select. Okay, nothing to see that.
rip the speedrun mode now though. But if you have speedrun mode enabled when you do chapter select, it messes up a lot of stuff, so you can't use it.
Yeah, like the menuing is kind of like laggy. Sometimes it eats your inputs at times, so it's like
Yeah, if you're
not
not paying
common that you quit.
attention, you can quit to them. If you don't pay attention to what button what like prompt you're on. It's happened to the best of us.
yeah. Anyway, we'll just do the skip again.
Also, rip Jeff. He disappeared.
We'll get him back in a second.
Yeah, that downwards little journal extending is actually kind of difficult to do sometimes. It just doesn't work. Oh, I wish I could figure out why. But yeah, it does that. And then basically that skips the entirety of chapter 18, or like all the climbing and puzzle stuff that you do in that area. It saves a lot of time. Are you going to do this? Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna like go back to Tenzin's side of the area again. Then wait for him to like jump across, otherwise he like messes up where you're at with this this book launch. So yeah, we're gonna get some height, jump across to his side, hopefully grab the ledge. Thank you. Can miss that jump also. I don't know why. Sometimes he just doesn't grab the ledge. And do another book launch to get up here. And then from here, we're going to do another book launch. Lots of book launches in this chapter. And we're going to like take a tactical death, but it's going to place us where we should hit a checkpoint.
Most of the checkpoints in this game you can't hit while you're about to die.
That was too far right. That was too far right. Okay. I'll just go the normal way, actually.
Yeah, so basically what would have happened there is if he'd have jumped in the right spot, it would have respawned him back where he was. Because for some reason, that specific checkpoint you can hit while in a fall where you're actually going to die. But most of the checkpoints in this game, you can't do that. There's a couple where you can. There'll be one coming up later as well where you can also do that. But most checkpoints you can't hit while falling from that high. Also, that skip only saves about 20 seconds, if that. But now you get to hear the best line in the game, though.
Yes, so that's the only perk of going this way. Okay, in a second, we're going to get a long gun as well. So what that's going to enable us to do is that we can do airwalks now. And that's convenient for this part. So the switch over there, we're not going to activate that. We're going to completely ignore it. We're going to airwalk to this elevator. So the switch is meant to like lower this elevator, and then once you jump onto it, once it's like completely lowered, then it activates this cutscene. But you can just trigger it from touching it. After the airwalk.
About a minute and 20 seconds, something like that. You have to wait for it to come down. Very convenient.
Also, the Yetis have returned, so just gonna give him a little tickle. See,
what Yetis? We've never seen them before. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, never saw any Yetis earlier in the game at all. At any point. So yeah, if you think back to chapter 16, we were in Tenzin's village. We're now returned to the village, and there are baddies, so we're gonna have to deal with them. Please don't hit me, thank you. Oh, okay, he hit me anyway. It's fine.
All you need to do here is kill the brute, and then restart a checkpoint, and then it despawns the rest of the enemies. Also, a sad side effect of being in combat in this game is you can't use the journal. So we can't do any journal tricks, but we are going to do a glitch.
Yeah, it's very glitchy. Going to do some out of bounds stuff in the second.
You can do the glitch later on in 20, or not?
No, not that one.
You don't do that, it's horrible. It only says like 5 seconds, that's not why you would want to.
Yeah, I'm going to kill all these guys.
Explain this?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so basically what he's going to do is going to cover aim clip out of bounds. And what you can do is if you can climb onto this roof, you can jump into the next area. And if you turn the camera at a specific point, you can get it to load in while you're in bounds. If you do it too early, you'll get stuck out of bounds, but you can save that. But yeah, if he turns the camera, okay, he got stuck, but he's going to save it. That. Yeah, there you go. So, and then you can clip inside of this house by doing a backwards cover clip. And then that basically skips this entire fight. I think it said
there's
what, 20
loads
seconds?
of enemies in that area.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just avoid spawning them in.
Very nice skip.
And by Hey French, shout outs to him.
Why would he bring a tent?
Well, I mean, technically, I found the clip into the house. Oh,
into the house, yes, but like not the initial out of bounds, right?
No.
Fair enough. I mean, it was like a community effort. Like there were different people who worked in different parts of it. Yeah, shout out to Arms and Mini for that.
Now the rest of this chapter is pretty much. So there is a skip you can do, but I would advise that no one do it because it's hard and barely saves any time. But there is a cool thing we're going to do with the tank as well. If you've played this game before, you'd know how the tank plays out, but we're going to do that differently.
Also, I don't know if I mentioned before, but the Uzi is really good for combat. It takes out enemies very quickly, so I'm going to be using that as much as possible throughout this chapter.
Yeah, Uzi is probably the best gun in the game for close range. Anyway, if you're running past enemies, you want the Uzi.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, when you shoot it, you don't actually slow down as much as you would do with the long guns if you try and blind fire them.
Research checkpoint there to speed Tenzin up.
You can actually die on these poles. If you try and jump too quickly on the last one, Tenzin can block you and the game just won't grab the ledge and you can just die, and it's very sad if that happens. But I usually just wait before I jump off.
Just to take your time there and not risk it. And Tenzin is now nowhere to be found, so we're by ourselves for now. There is a jump you can do here as well. I'm gonna avoid that because if you mess it up, then you die.
Yeah, you basically jump to get the shimmy, but if you jump too far right, you'll hit a death trigger and it will send you back quite far. Well, not quite far, but enough to not warrant doing it. Because it only saves a couple seconds. You know, I've got the tank fight, which...
Yeah, this is like the most dangerous part of this chapter.
You meant to go up the stairs and follow Tenzin, but Wald's not going to do any of that. We're just going to run right to the last building and pick up some RPGs there and just shoot it 4 times and it'll blow up. Because you meant to go through, climb some buildings, get 1 RPG at a time from different enemies. But on Explorer and on Easy, but it's harder on Easy, but on Explorer we can just run right to the end and just spam it with rockets. Because conveniently this area spawns loads of rockets and they keep spawning over and over again.
Yeah, I'm also using triangle to reload cancel. So like once you see that the ammo's filled in, you don't have to wait for the whole animation for the gun to like reload, and that applies for any gun that you have. Yeah, it's particularly useful there with the RPG. This chapter is basically just an auto-scroller. You just got to jump between these trucks.
It is not as well, but you can die, and that is not fun.
Yeah. Someone may or may not have died in their PB. Someone who should not be named.
Happened to me as well, dude. It's fine. This area is very glitchy as well. Sometimes when you stand on the top of the trucks, you can try to walk off to get onto the like the lower part of it, and you'll just fly off. It's very random.
Yeah, and like jumping doesn't always ensure that you're gonna land where you want to land. Like there, for example, like I was gonna land there, but then like it pushed me over here. This game is well made.
The Wald's only basically all these cars. He's gonna just shoot the drivers. You don't need to shoot the passenger because when you shoot the driver, the car will just blow up.
Yeah, I was not moving right, by the way. The game was just like, no, I think you are moving right, and decided to give me a bit of a scare.
Yeah, that's prime example of the game just doing whatever it wants in this section.
Yeah.
That's killed me before, plenty of times.
Okay, cool.
You
can jump there. I don't know why the truck wasn't where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that can happen. If you jump too early, you won't land on the truck. That's meant to be like a cutscene that's meant to pull you into the truck. If you jump too early, it won't trigger.
This chapter isn't difficult. So yeah, can sometimes not cooperate though. But hopefully this time it's gonna behave.
It's okay though, because after this is probably the most interesting chapter of the run. This one and the next one after that. There's some very cool skips we do. Skip a lot of stuff.
Yeah, see, the truck just wasn't there the first time. Anyway, so yeah, you can restart checkpoint there to like avoid a little cutscene. And then we just gotta like, you don't have to shoot these tanks, these trucks rather. But there are certain ones that you do have to shoot because they'll push Elena off, and then if she dies, then and you have to like restart. So yeah, this one is one that you have to kill. It only takes 3 shots in Explorer, but on higher difficulties it takes more shots. One of the weird things about Explorer, I guess.
Also, if you pay attention to this area, you can see trucks go flying into the air sometimes. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah, they can get launched really high, so it's funny when it happens. Like that tire over there.
That tire just went off.
Yeah. Right, yeah, so this is one of the most interesting and potentially difficult chapters in the game. We've got like a series of airwalks that we're going to do, and if you mess up even one of them, then you have to restart the sequence. But first we've got a bit of fighting to do, so we'll get to the airwalks in a bit.
Yeah.
Almost there. You got it?
Also, right here, Wild's going to try and do a jump at a specific angle to try and skip this shimmy that you would normally do to get across this gap. And if you do it quick enough, you can actually kill the enemies in this next part before you're meant to.
It really? You just won't grab the ledge.
This actually is quite tricky to do, because it requires a precise angle. Yeah, now we can kill these enemies before he's actually meant to. Like they're just having a chat. He doesn't care. You just strangled his friend, snapped his neck.
Yeah, he was just like walking up.
He just turned around.
You're through.
He just didn't like his friend that much. Yeah, this is the main fighting sequence in this chapter. So we're going to kill these 3 guys, and there's a guy coming through the doorway, going to take care of him. Then we've got to take out a bunch more guys, and then kill like a sniper that spawns in. This guy.
You have to kill enough to get the sniper to spawn. This area is really weird in the sense that we still haven't figured out exactly how many enemies you have to kill to allow you to progress. I know that I think French was working on something. I don't know how consistent it is though. Yeah, if you jump too early there, if you go too early, you'll just hit a death barrier and die. It's probably better to be safe and kill enough.
There we go.
He needs to get that grenade. The grenade's useful. He needs to get another
There's one
grenade
guy with
here
a
as well.
shotgun. I'm just going to take care of him. Shotguns do quite a lot of damage even on Explorer.
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of slow. Oh well. I'll grab this grenade as well, just for safety.
Keep going.
But yeah, now we're going to just use the turret and take care of the rest of the guys. Oh, the lock-on aim kind of like, I don't know, Elena there. That was weird.
Are you going to do the roll through the gate? Are you going to do the airwalk?
I'll do the airwalk.
Yeah. So once he's killed all these enemies, he's going to line himself up and do an airwalk. As soon as the combat has ended, which basically he can hit a checkpoint trigger that's like for some reason extends very low down, and you can hit it.
Also, that mountain to the left has a death barrier, so if you hit that, then you have to redo the airwalk.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Mm.
I assume you're not doing the zip here.
Yeah, not doing the zip. So there is a zip airwalk you can do here, but I don't do it because it's kind of difficult and quite specific. So yeah, as I said, we have to do a sequence of airwalks, so they start now. So if I'm to mess up any of the airwalks coming up, I have to start again from here. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. And now that I've said that, I've jinxed it. So
It's gonna be fine.
see how it goes.
He's gonna do 3. So he's gonna do 1 airwalk here, and then he's gonna do a zip at the top of this tower to get across this bridge, because the bridge doesn't have collision, so you have to airwalk across it. And then he's going to do another airwalk in the last area to hit a checkpoint. And if you fail any of these at any point, you have to do it all over again.
I'll pause briefly to load in the stairs, and then here we're going to wait for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, you
The
have
area
to
to
wait
load
for it to
in.
load in. You won't see it loading, you just got to know when to unpause.
They're under. Okay, gonna get knocked off now. There we go.
And now one last airwalk to hit a checkpoint trigger, but first he's got to get up to a roof.
Yeah, gonna go out of bounds here. So gonna use that little log there to be able to grab this ledge, which for some reason you can grab. You can grab like loads of weird ledges in this game.
Very convenient.
Yes, super convenient for speedrunning. Okay, it should be fine, I think.
Yeah, so now
Yeah,
he's
the angle
walking
looks good.
into a checkpoint, which is, again, for whatever reason, extends really far around this building, out of bounds. Low down as well. Like, this checkpoint trigger is really big, so it's kind of hard to actually fail this because it's so big.
Yeah. So we're going to pause here for the area to load in, and then once it's loaded in, we're going to unpause and then restart checkpoint. Yeah, pay no
Then he's
attention to
gonna
what just happens, Jeff.
Oh, his leg. And he's going to do an upwards airwalk to get onto this roof.
This one's kind of specific. You need to like going up quite quickly. I don't think that'll work. No, okay.
Yeah, this upwards airwalk is probably the hardest in the game because you need to get a really specific angle and enough distance to push onto the roof. If you go too fast, you'll miss the roof.
It needs to be moving like upwards, like really quickly. Otherwise, if you don't have enough speed upwards, then it's not going to work, basically.
Yeah, and if you have too much speed, you'll just fly past the roof and won't actually latch onto it.
Yeah, that's always fun when you have too much speed there. So in this area, I've got to kill one guy, and then we can cover clip out of bounds, and then run across these rooftops. You've got to keep the camera pointed right for some reason here, because the area deloads if you've not got it pointed right. But yeah. From this roof, we're gonna just drop down, and then when Elena spawns, you can restart checkpoint, and we're here now.
Yeah, that's another example of being able to restart when you should be dead, but you still get the checkpoint anyway. No, this part's basically on a timer. You just gotta wait for these enemies to spawn to drop down this rope.
No,
It doesn't matter how fast you kill those first couple of enemies.
Yep. You gotta make sure everyone's dead also, otherwise there's like a death plane that doesn't get lifted.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna restart checkpoint once we get up here. Speed Elena up.
You could skip this, but this door down here requires Elena to be with you to be able to open it, which is a shame. If it didn't need her, you could probably skip a lot more in this chapter as well, but go on.
There's some doors up here. I need your help.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, if you ever walk upstairs, then
when you soft lock yourself, you get soft locked in the animation that you're doing when you do it. So if you do it on the stairs, you just stay in the stair walking animation. It looks pretty funny.
That's it.
And then next is probably the most boring chapter in the game.
yeah, so we've reunited with Flynn. He's just so eager to get rid of us. So if you actually try punching him, then he gives you one warning, and then if you punch him again, then he just kills you. So you can
Nice guy.
try that out if you're playing casually.
Oh, I love this part. So in this part right here, you boost him up so he knocks this rock down. But if you just stand to the right of the rock, as soon as it hits the ground, you can just climb up the wall for whatever reason.
Wait for me.
Why you can't do that, it just baffles me.
Great.
Like, it makes no sense why that works, but it does. And it is a little bit faster than climbing on the rock.
Get ahead of me. Go on. You better not be leading me into a dead end. It's through here.
And this chapter has the last puzzle in the game, and the one that you actually have to remember.
Yeah, this is like the only puzzle that you like do fully in any percent. It's really easy though. It's like the same every time, and you only have to like do like 3 things, which are like very simple.
Good old days, eh?
And they all conveniently, all of them you have to spin to the right. There's none you have to spin to the left, so it's easy to remember. You just have to know how many times to spin it.
Now, how did they get that cart there?
And you just got to wait for Flynn
Just
again,
have to get up high. It's like Stonehenge, isn't it?
because he likes being slow.
No. Help me push this.
That's it, Flynn.
Come on, girly girl. There you go. Statue of your mom.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. I noticed you lost a bunch of time on this in your PB. What happened?
Oh look, it's a life-size statue of your
Well, in this chapter,
Yeah,
Hope you can make that jump on your own.
I think
I
so.
think so. I think you lost like 15 seconds or something. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know.
It might be a different chapter because I thought this chapter was fine in my PB.
Probably. I
I'm
don't
not saying I
pay
didn't
attention.
lose 15 seconds in a chapter because I definitely did at some point.
If you die, if the start of this chapter between getting up that
let's open
thing
it
and
up.
jumping across that gap where Flynn grabs you, if you die at any point during that, you have to start it all over again, which is quite slow. You can actually skip that cutscene where Flynn grabs you by doing a really precise jump. But if you fail it, you have to start the chapter again. So I don't know anyone that actually even goes for it.
World turns.
It's quite hard to do.
Try
Yeah,
And it
so
only
this is the
saves, like,
puzzle
10
basically.
seconds. Yeah, you just got to spin these big cylinders.
Yeah, and then the last one is just like this middle one to the right. It's just like pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you just got to make all the icons match up.
Come on.
What would be in the journal? So this would be a point where you'd use your journal to figure out what's meant to go where. But since we already know, we don't
Yeah, we use the journal for more important things like airwalking and other glitch
line across
stuff.
the map.
Yeah, literally.
It's like water.
Best part is we use the journal, but you never actually see us fully open it and look at it for like more than like a frame.
Yeah. And also the Yetis have returned, so let's hope we don't die to them.
I assume you're not going to do the clip yet.
Oh, I tried to do the clip, but
You won't. The funny thing
so yeah, you
happen,
can do a clip. Maybe I can do it here. There we go. Okay, okay. I've never actually tried. He's gonna die from full damage. I think, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think you died there.
I know you can die in this area, but I didn't know that. I think it happens only on that main floor.
Okay.
Bit weird.
Basically, you can clip through here, and then they just don't know what to do. So they're just chilling with us.
You can actually have us like run into you. Constantly,
Yeah.
and it looks real funny.
It's really funny when they're like, maybe I can get them to run into me. What? Okay, he doesn't want to play. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's spots on the top, so we just wait. You can actually, there's a specific spot where you can climb up and just wait as well, and they won't attack you, but this is more interesting to do. And I've actually
if
done
you
this
like-
at the end of a glitch just before by accident. And ruined
Did
it.
you actually?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I went into 80% mode and just did this.
It's kind of easy to do though if you forget like what you're supposed to be doing.
But it doesn't save any time. It's just obviously it is an actual glitch. So
Yeah. Anyway, so throughout the whole game, we've been searching for this place called Shambhala, and now we're finally here. This is the Lost City, and it's really beautiful. And there's like loads of cool environments and locations. You can see them over there. Unfortunately, we're going to be skipping all of that. Yeah, we're going to skip most of the chapter by doing a pretty long airwalk. But we'll get to that in a bit.
but first we get to fight Guardians. Have fun.
Yeah. Oh, also in this section, they forgot to turn friendly fire off, so you can shoot your companions here for some reason.
I like how you notice this stuff.
sometimes you just get bored, okay?
True.
Okay.
Yes, there's nothing
We need to get the hell out of
real
here.
interesting to explain about this next part. There's going to be 2 guardians that spawn. He's going to kill them really quickly. Then there's going to be 1 more that spawns, and on the version that Wild is playing, that one takes a while to kill, so he's probably going to be shooting it for a bit. But for whatever reason, on the Japanese version, it dies pretty much instantly. No one knows why, but it saves about 6-7 seconds, probably something like that.
Yeah, so this is the Guardian that dies really quickly on the Japanese version, but he takes like quite a few shots on this version. There you go.
He's very tanky on any version other than the Japanese version. On the Japanese version, you can actually not even shoot him, just leave him and they'll kill him for you most of the time.
So Matt, why don't you do an airwalk here? It's like kind of quicker than a journalist, and
That means I have to pick up a grenade.
but, like you walk over grenade. It's like barely any time lost.
And just maybe I'll start doing it.
Sap is flammable, just like the resin.
So yeah, you can do another glitch here where you're meant to like climb around and then shoot a bunch of sap, but you can actually clip through those vines there.
Yeah, that skips some stuff.
Really must have been something back in the day.
And now he's going to do the last airwalk of the last glitch of the run.
Yeah.
To skip to the final boss.
I think this should be okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not sure. Yeah.
Actually, you might get stuck on a different spot, but you should still be able to do it.
Mm.
I think this happened to me yesterday. Yeah, what he's gonna do is he's gonna hit a trigger.
Oh shit!
Which is basically meant to be a cutscene trigger. Start the boss fight, but for some reason when you hit it, it just starts chapter 26, and you just climb down again and hit the same cutscene and start the final boss of the game, which is
Yeah, so this is the last
Lazarus.
chapter. Basically, the way this boss fight works, you have to like shoot him a bunch of times, and then if you like explode some sap or a grenade next to him, then that triggers like the next phase, as it were, of the fight. So there are like 4 phases in total. So we've done the second phase now. So we just need to explode some more sap like twice on him. So I'm gonna shoot him a bunch of reloaded. Oops. Okay. So yeah, now this is the last part coming up.
The best line in the game.
Yeah, that's the best line.
Which on the
Yeah,
Japanese
he, like-
version is actually way better.
Oh yeah, it's so funny on the Japanese version. There we go.
Holy shit!
Now, final run of the game, it's like 30 seconds of just running across this bridge and then time will be coming up.
Yeah, time is coming up very shortly.
And if you die here, it's big sad. I've died here on PB pace before, right at the end. If you don't pay attention during this
very
part,
big
you can die. It is. It's not fun.
Okay, time is coming up in about 3, 2, 1, time. So that was Uncharted 2.
Very nice. Thank you for running that.
Thanks for having us, and thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks Matt also for commentating with me.
No worries.
Honestly, some of my favorite speedruns are those that like really glitch out of bounds and the movement is totally wacky, and Uncharted 2 did not disappoint. So I appreciate you coming on the show, Wildfire. And everybody, if you did enjoy the run, please make sure you follow our runner, Wildfire011 here on Twitch, as well as our commentary tonight, Matt. Do you have any shout outs or any final thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, sure. Shout outs to everyone in the community. It's really welcoming and very friendly. So I guess like shout outs to all the runners of Uncharted 2 and the other Uncharted games. particularly, I'd say Matt, thanks so much. Hey French, Erims, Hutch T, Mini Moosel,
Oh God. Lena, hold on. All right, just hold on.
Alma, Brad, Tatum, Rocky as well, Medaleg.
You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, a lot of you are in chat anyway, but yeah, shout out to everyone.
Lena, don't do this.
Matt, do you have any shout outs to say?
Shout out for you to doing the run. It was great. Congratulations.
Yeah, sorry with all the frame drops and lag like at the start as well. Sorry about that. I hope that didn't,
no, that's fine. You know, these things happen from time to time, and so you were a trooper muscling through that with us, and thank you all for muscling through that with us. So we got through it, okay?
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely, and thank you to our subscribers for making this show, Time Capsule, and other hotfix shows possible. We have a lot of fun here on the show, especially, and I appreciate it, and everyone on the team, GQ team, appreciates it as well. You can learn about all of our shows at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. We have a few new shows coming up over the next few weeks, so if you missed any shows or want to revisit past events, just go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick. Check out the VODs. Coming up next, we have a speedrun of Ratchet and Clank Future: A Crack in Time, and we'll be right back. Some quick hotfix, the show where we speedrun our way through popular or influential games during the time of their release. The theme today is 2009, and right now I have Mobius here with me, ready to speedrun Ratchet and Clank Future: A Crack in Time. Mobius, hi, would you like to introduce yourself in commentary?
Hello, yeah, I am Mobius. I am a speedrunner of the Ratchet and Clank series. I focus on PS3 games, so that's like Tools of Destruction, A Crack in Time, all those. But I also dabble in pretty much everything. And with me on commentary is Led, who is another Crack in Time speedrunner.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah, he's a aficionado of routing and all the categories, and I kind of just do everything. But there's more to explain once we actually get into the run, I suppose. I'll start in just a few seconds. You get to count down?
Yeah, give the countdown when you're ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Righto. Ooh, so right off the bat in A Crack in Time, we are thrust into a Clank section. Just like a bit of a debrief on the story. So Ratchet and Clank are separated in this game. And for a majority of the game, like they're in two separate sections. So Clank is stuck here in the Great Clock, while Ratchet is like searching around the universe trying to find him. And just to kick this off, which is pretty non-traditional for a Ratchet and Clank game, is that we're playing as Clank. And he has a limited amount of movement options, although in this game he runs up pretty fast, and we can do X and R2 or X and triangle to cancel his like jumps and glides. And that's faster than just running on the ground for him for some reason. And it looks kind of weird. It looks like he's just trying to take off and just can't get off the ground.
I'll explain everything as soon as you're safe.
Ironically enough, Clank actually has some of the most tech in the entire game in terms of like all of his possible glitch movement and just generally how to go from point A to point B.
Yeah, but unfortunately we might be seeing a lot of that because without giving too much away, this will be one of 2 times that we see Clank in the entire run.
Now, keep moving. I'll hold him off as long as I can.
Yeah, so like a natural progression as Clank is like you get more abilities and powers and all these things like time bombs and a scepter that's like acts as Ratchet's wrench in a lot of ways. And that can be used to gain height or like properly clip through walls. You still clip through walls as Clank though using ledge grabs because they work slightly. Well, ledge grabs in this game are quite weird. They sort of like ignore collision on the pull-up to a degree, so you're able to go through walls, especially as Ratchet, and as Clank you can slide along surfaces and do weird things if you position yourself correctly.
They're on their way, sir.
Yeah, well, it almost seems like the sort of bug is fixed with Clank. You'll really see what we're talking about when it comes later on with the Ratchet sections.
Yeah.
The Clank ledge grabs work differently, but
yeah,
you can still kind of fudge them to get them to work the way that we want.
You'll see right there the out of bounds that I just did. So we're able to adjust our position while holding, pulling up from a ledge. We can strafe and look in a different direction. And just with that particular ledge, it's like it's two balls sandwiched in front of each other. So we're able to slide along them, gain a lot of momentum because the game sort of thinks we're moving forwards and down. And if we punch or jump, then that momentum gets like completely boosted out of us all at once, and allows us to like just phase through walls. And there we just did some out of bounds or like movement straight to the end. It's nothing too fancy there. Shoutouts to Red's the Name / Cheesy Coofs / Duck. He's the dude that's found like a bunch of tech for this game, and we'll probably be saying his name a lot more throughout the rest of the run.
Yeah, there's a very common thing that we like to say with Duck, and he's the guy that disappears for about 2 years, and he'll come back, and there'll be something that he found like 5 years ago. I'll be like, hey, guys, this is a strat that I found, by the way.
Yeah, like... this game has a really interesting progression as like a speed game. It's quite different to the rest of the Ratchet games. And just to briefly explain what's going on in the Ratchet section right now, we're walking in a jungle. It's quite like Uncharted in a lot of ways. But yeah, the progression of this speed game has been quite interesting because it's one of the longer developed speed games, mainly because of Duck, who has been around for pretty much the bulk of 10 years working out a bunch of glitches, a bunch of save file manips and all of these things. It becomes a really interesting game, especially when you're looking at the longer categories. Here we're trying to do the most with the least, I suppose. I can't jump on his head.
There are actually a lot of things that we can do maneuverability-wise to get through some of these areas faster, especially in Quantos. But Quantos is so linearly locked to a path with so many different triggers that we just can't really do anything.
Yeah, so we're able to take a look at the scripts actually, and like really quantify what we need to, like how many triggers we need to hit, find out exactly where we need to be. And this is like the most railroaded level in Ratchet and Clank history. You can skip this bolt crank, and that's about it. And we do that in NG+. But like, otherwise, you're sort of out of luck. There's a lot you just need to do.
And New Game Plus is a whole nother story, though, with some additional things to it.
Yeah. See if we can get it spanned. No, not lucky. Never lucky. Yeah, you can jump on Quark's head and skip him breaking that barrier. If you skip the first one, you self-lock your file.
Yes.
Well, actually, I think if you die, then like you can do a death use. I can't remember.
It was.
Yeah.
It's something that runners end up learning the hard way if they're ones into experimentation, and this game is very open to experimentation.
Yeah,
how small the community ends up, or the community has been.
Yeah, there's a recent runner, 24/7 Yu-Gi-Oh. Like he's really been like spearheading a few things this year, just trying to like find some new tech and all this. And he's run into some of the trouble problems that I did 2 years ago, and what Wed's probably run into before that, and what Red ran into 8 years ago. Like all of these things. These things that sort of come together.
It really does feel like the same conversation every time, going like, yeah, this doesn't work because this.
Yeah.
2 years later, yeah, this doesn't work because this.
Yeah.
Just
so that's
repeat.
That skip I just did, it just saves a few cycles of going around the section. Technically, that is an out of bounds because you ledge grab up onto that sort of overhang there, but it doesn't really feel like it. But yeah, that saves about like 20 seconds. Ideally.
It's also the first instance of really showing, at least showcasing what you might be able to see to come with Ratchet's ledge grabbing.
Yeah. We're very movement limited right now.
Yeah. We could like actually explain some of that ledge grabbing now if we want, just like mechanic wise.
I'm trying to think like where's the next instance that it really comes up.
Not. I don't think it's until Porcelain 1.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do any ledge grabs for the rest of Quantos.
Yeah, like principality wise, really how it works is the game is looking for a flat ledge, and if you can find something flat enough that juts out in some form, Ratchet will cling to it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of objects in the game too that definitely do not look flat, but we can assure you the game thinks they're flat enough.
Yeah, just flat enough. And like pulling yourself up from the ledge, in many cases you'll ignore ceilings above you while pulling up, and so that means you can get very easily out of bounds as Ratchet. And you'll see that later on in Pearl Canyon, where you sort of just go into the ether above you in the cave. Alright, here we go. So this whole time we've been escorting the chief along the path back to his home, and we're on a quest right now. We need to get a vessel where we put little bugs named Zoni into it, and apparently they just make our spaceship better, because that's really logical when matching things.
Well, there needs to be a progression system of some sort.
Yeah. They are one of the main collectibles in the game. There's 40 of them. In this run, we'll be collecting 7.
Hopefully 7.
Hopefully 7. Hey, you can beat the game with 2 if you really want to.
True. Yeah. Yes, you can.
It only requires one of the most infuriating ways to get out of this temple. I did that out of bounds, but I didn't commit to it. Come on, baby.
Copy that. Operation Red Shirt.
Yeah, that out of bounds that Mob was trying to do right there. If you're in a small region of like geometry and you swing your wrench, Ratchet will try to squeeze his way out of that geometry, and if he's enclosed enough, he'll just clip straight through a wall.
Yeah, if you're on pretty much 3 sides, you'll always go backwards.
The weird thing about that one in particular, though, is that there isn't really 3 sides. It just kind of allows you to do it with 2.
Yeah, it's sort of weird because the door frame is like slanted, I suppose, and because of that, you can sort of just slide on the door instead of sliding out of bounds. Here we're going to do a magic trick. Alright, so if we grab this top Zoni, there's 2 Zoni in the room, so clearly there is still another Zoni we should get. The game says no, and sort of just puts us where that second Zoni is supposed to be at the end of the temple. So that saves a 25-second walk back. But unfortunately, that does skip one Zoni that we can't get again. So we need to compensate later on when we need to get a specific upgrade. Hey, hello?
So yes, in short, this game has one long warp. Wrong warp.
Long warp. Hey,
long warp.
We can wrong warp in a few ways.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like a very weird warp.
Yeah, a lot of those are very different mechanically.
Yeah. Hey, if we want to get into the logistics of save glitches in this game, you need a degree.
Oh. The menu system in this game is very, very broken.
Very broken.
You don't get to see that much in this category,
Yeah. Thank the Lord. I don't want to be able to commentate that.
It is a mess.
Yeah. It does make for interesting ways to play the game. So right now, we're again escorting the chief. Big baddie Borsalon, you may have heard his name earlier, is invading and stealing these little Fongoid men. Hey, come on. Walk, buddy.
Yeah, during that section there, Mob was actually killing enemies as they spawn, killing specific enemies. You don't actually need to kill every enemy in that area. There's just specific ones that you need to kill to make sure the Fongoid gets up to the door and open it up.
Yeah. So I guess like mentioning that this is any percent, there is a challenge mode in this game, which is New Game Plus, for anyone that doesn't know. And with that, you have like all your powerful weapons and all these things. I'm going to just do something down here. Oh no. Oh, I mistimed. I thought I had hit me.
Going for the cheeky UFO kill.
Yeah, that one's consistent, but I mistimed.
I've actually not even really seen that one in Quantos.
That one I found right after my ASM one, I think. So.
As we mentioned, stuff doesn't get documented too easily in this game.
I'm forgetful. And actually, no, I've done a good job this year.
I'm glad I didn't. This teleporter will take you back to your ship. Well, follow me.
Alright, we are done with Quantos, the first planet. It has taken us an extraordinary amount of time. This is the longest planet by time, I think.
We also definitely totally have everything that we need to fix the ship.
Ignore that undefined.
Such as having 2 out of 3 zoning that we need.
Alright. So yeah, we've collected 2 zoning, and our next upgrade is 3 zoning. To give you an idea of what the next upgrade is, it is Aphelion, and Aphelion is our ship that we are currently flying in right now. I'm going to do a load here because why not? It's like sort of equal with in-game time, which we haven't explained yet.
So we got go ahead with the loads. Actually,
yeah. So this game is not timed by real time on the leaderboards. It's timed by in-game time because this has a fairly accurate in-game timer, which is the only rat game in the series that really has that. It's second accurate, and just a sec. So it doesn't count loads. It doesn't count quick select pause or any menus that you do. So you can sort of like weasel your way out of it in seconds if you need to, but ultimately in-game time is like the best solution we have for this game because of the varying loads and some of the things that we do. I did not get a kaboom though. This is not a good ship section.
Bad RNG.
That's very strange. I thought it was consistent.
It is. I'm joking. You just didn't roll left far enough.
Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a very specific wave of UFOs that you are looking to see them come down, and if you see that one come down and start shooting at them, you'll get 1 kaboom, you turn around, you shoot one of the other guys in another set, you get another kaboom, and then you're done.
See, this shows how much I care about the shift sections. Oh, but here, Vorsalon 1, the ultimate in new runner gatekeeping.
Are you doing the brand new thing at the start?
Yeah, I'm doing the new thing.
Okay, good.
I'll do it.
I think it's cool. I mean,
yeah, it's cool.
Not as cool as the old swag strat that almost never worked, but you know.
Yeah, hold on. I'll do one for the fans. See, it doesn't work.
Well, you know what? We'll just leave them hanging until later.
Yeah.
On that.
What I just did, that's actually a manip that we'll use later. So here we're climbing out of bounds, and we need to hyperstrike onto a particular part of the geometry up here. You'll see because my camera sort of like notifies you of where it is. And here we got to do it. Oh. Okay, I was mistiming my double jump. Another hyperstrike gets you up here to the top of the ship. That was slow, unfortunately, but you know, we'll take what we can get. That should ideally save about 20 seconds of walking through here and taking an elevator and doing another grab ramp section and all these things. And we get scenic sights at the top of Vorsalon's ship. Except for that part's not solid. So we do have to fall back inbound at some point, which is right here. right into a cutscene.
Can you actually double jump and get over that laser wall?
No. So the cutscene barrier is really.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I did.
I never actually checked that. So, wait, the enemy is not there.
Is the door going to open? Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, normally I land far enough back that an enemy just sort of opens that door for us. Whatever.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Hey, run away a lot. Don't like that for a while. We get some ammo. Oh, we're gonna get to V3 because we killed the Proto Manus earlier. That's good. Sketch health. I don't like this.
So what you're about to see is a strat that only Mobius currently goes for.
Yeah. I got it. So that strat there, do you know the mechanics behind it, or do you want me to explain it?
I think you'd be better explaining it, but I know you're on low health.
Yeah, I'm just like sort of freaking out because I never enter Warsaw with low health.
No, I'll try my best. So in the middle of the wrench swing animation, specifically the third swing, there is it any swing? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a bit of time during the animation that you can actually get a jump off.
No, that's not good. That's really not good.
Yeah.
I hate that attack.
So yeah, there's a short period during the wrench swing that counts you as grounded. So Mobius is using it to his advantage to jump or get an extra jump lower down so he can eventually get into the boss fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's really frustrating. Yeah, it looks like an infinite jump, and it sort of is, but it's just like making use of the fact that you have a grounded state while doing those wrench swings.
I'm also going to be the one to say that it's not actually the fastest strat, but it is.
Yeah,
it is unmistakably cooler.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't get the health upgrade at the right time either.
The fastest strat is actually very irritating. It requires jumping on top of an enemy's head, which has a very small space. And from there, you can use that to jump out of bounds in a slightly later portion to get down to the fight. And the more important thing about that one is that you hit an extra trigger in the level, which lets the game know that you're going to be fighting Warsalon soon. And the game is looking for you reaching the trigger of entering Warsalon or later.
Well, no, that one's actually the exit trigger that we're hitting.
Yeah.
Which allows us to save load and then skip the fight entirely. That does change the XP route very slowly. Unfortunate.
Yeah, it makes the XP route a lot harder, but it is hilarious just going into the fight and just loading out because you don't need to actually fight him.
Yeah.
It also has an effect much later in the run during the second visit to Warsalon ship. It just spawns you in the Warsalon 1 section again.
Yeah, but the difference is now we will have the hover boots, which is a gadget that we'll get very soon, and that allows us to do some sort of wacky platforming that saves a bit of time.
You might be wondering why Mobius is just kind of roaming around in the ship.
Yeah, you explain this.
So, this is some of the menu tomfoolery that we mentioned before. It's not exactly what we were mentioning. There's other completely different stuff that is absolutely insane. But so there are a total of 2 levels in this game that you initially enter via a cutscene, and these both have a special like thing about them because of it. That means if you initiate a cutscene while trying to enter the planet, it will take that plan as precedence because it'll just overlap the cutscene with the one that I had before. So what Mobius did there was he overlapped the cutscene of entering the Clank section with entering Quantos, which means, in essence, he just made the Clank section Quantos.
Yeah. Another element to that, on top of that, is the fact that you can spam, like... I'll actually demonstrate this in a second. But when you exit the sector, you can skip the ship, like, flying off into the distance and doing, like, a warp speed thing. Phylex and the final sector are the only sectors that you are able to do that in, which means that if you mash that, then you can skip that quick enough that the loads do properly stack on top of each other. Load stacking is another like element of other file manips involving displacing where your current position is onto another save file entirely, which is used in 100% if I were to do a run of it.
We're also a bit late on mentioning this, but some people that have played this game might notice that there aren't cutscenes between the transition areas. And
yes. We'll just say, like...
we don't like cutscenes.
Yeah, we don't like cutscenes. If you know, you know.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Alright, now we're on to Molinov, which is our second actual planet. And this is where we get the most major movement tech as Ratchet, which is the hover boots. And if you haven't played ASAP before, then you wouldn't know, but the hover boots like are sort of a speed boost on the ground sort of thing, and allows you to do jumps and ramps and rails and all of these things. But one of its main capabilities is the fact that you're able to double jump while having the hover boots equipped, and transfer that double jump with a lot of speed, which allows us to cross gaps the developers didn't really think we should be able to cross with a single jump. It's sort of like a minor oversight. There are a few interesting things we can do with the hover boots later on that can skip entire sections of the game. And I do have some bombs here. Actually, no, I'm good.
So I tend to like to think of Tauren 4 as probably the real early game run killer for veteran runners.
Yeah.
They're like Warsalon's kind of fiddly with a lot of its stuff, but there's a lot of really difficult strats here that don't even save that much time, to be honest.
No. Like jumping on the side of that pedestal there, that's really hard. Ledge grabbing up onto there and not slipping off, that's also hard. Jumping onto the steel bar that I just jumped on, also hard. Double jump hyper striking up there is also deceptively difficult, and I'm going to showcase a new strat here that I forgot to make a video for. You know, I'm really...
Cue me bringing that up earlier.
So once I've climbed up there, I'm actually going left and down into the buildings, and then falling into the save point that is the second half of the stage. That entire out of bounds sequence saves only like 6 seconds.
Is it really 6? I thought it was more like double that.
It was like 8 IGT, and that extra strat that I do saves 1.5. I forgot to pick up Zircon, but that's fine. I don't need to.
Also, all 3 of those jumps there from the conveyor belts are deceptively difficult.
You just delay your double jump. Don't be an Alan Looser about it.
This is the call-out stream.
I don't know if I've told you about this. You know peak percent, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, there's one delayed double jump that you do in that whole run, and you spent 2 hours. I'm sorry. You know how to do a delayed double jump. You press X, and then you press X a bit later than you'd expect to press X. Very simple stuff. I'm sorry, Musa. I still love you. Here we have the grind rail section.
I was gonna say, question: is the bounty still up?
Is the bounty still up? Well, not really.
Not really.
We did figure it out.
We kind of solved it, but
yeah.
Is that really the only answer?
Yeah. So these rails are very slow, and they seem like an auto scroller, except you can get fast rails, and that just means you go faster on the rails, and you can actually like die by jumping at the wrong times because you're going so fast. We figured this out as a file minute, which we can use in NG+, but there are cases of getting it in 80% that just make it like 16 seconds faster, like out of nowhere. And we haven't figured that out. So if you want to have a chance at like a maybe defunct $50 bounty, then please try and find fast rails in this category. All right. Now that we're done with this section, we get the hover boots. Golden Child of basic. You activate it by just hitting it right on the D-pad, and you start zooming around. There we go. And right off the bat, we're going to do Azimuth Escape, found by web. We jump once, we jump twice, we glide, and then Hyper Strike, and we skip the tutorial for the hover boots, which is pretty apt considering we're using an unintentional way to use it. Okay.
I see you found the accelerator.
Here, we can't make this any faster. This is just collecting flares. Just along this like track around the grind rail section. So there we go.
There's some really weird stuff that happens with this if you end up failing though in the middle. You get to see the flares just kind of like bounce around the map for no apparent reason.
Yeah, it's kind of funny and kind of like odd. And if you die, you go back to the tutorial section for the hover boots, except Azimuth disappears. So he's just talking to you, like he's just talking to you, and you're just standing there like he's in front of you, explaining how the hover boots work. So here, that was like our main thing as to do on this planet. We needed to find Azimuth, who was another Lombax, and we had to get the hover boots, which we will be using right away on the next planet. And I guess another refresher on the lore for this game: Ratchet's the only Lombax.
Yeah, definitely the only Lombax.
And you know Angela, but you know they forgot about Angela.
Hey, there was another inconsistent trick there that we still don't really know the answer for. So you might have seen the flash of light after collecting the Zoni. You'll see, like light rings go around the ship. There are times that you can. Is it consistent?
Yeah, it's with a different method. So if you hit triangle on the ship and then collect the Zoni, like in that fated life sequence, then you mostly skip it. But I'm a bit too much of a wuss to do that in a run, because if you miss a Zoni there, that's like a 15-second time loss on maximum, and that's not really my jam.
I guess I just don't know how it works otherwise, because I've definitely done it without the fade out.
Yeah, no, I get
what you're talking about.
I have no idea either. Here we are going to, so there's a bunch of satellites in front of this next planet, and they push you away unless you have the boost capability for the ship. That requires 6 Zoni, and the only way we can get Zoni is by going to the smaller moons around this place and getting the Zoni at the end of each one.
Yeah, not that the Zonies are particularly slow to get on the moons. If you look at some of the runs that require them, you'll see that. But we are still pressed for time, and it is faster to just skip in.
Yeah. So normally there's like a huge wall that pushes you back in, like no matter what, for this section. But when we barrel roll, we're able to sort of circumvent that and just keep going until we adjust our angle too much, and then the game like recognizes and forces us back in. If we go out of bounds enough, it'll force us back in at a diagonal angle that is where the planet is, and then we can just like mash the ever-living something out of triangle and hope that if you're too close, you'll get pushed back out. Alright. So I need to pick up Zircon here. That's actually quite important. Little buddy Zircon.
There's also a newer a newer addition to the route as of like half a year ago, maybe coming up.
When was your all zoney run? We discussed it during Rack Attack all zoney, so that's March. So yeah, I'm going to use this swing shot, and I'm going to land on this geometry barge that is going to take us up and away. We're not really meant to land on that. I don't know why that's solid, but that gets us to a Constructo mod. So some of our weapons, in fact 2 of our weapons right now, are Constructo weapons, which means they can be modified with different upgrades and different capabilities. Our main weapon, of course, is the bomb, which just does a lot of damage. It is the only other weapon that we'll be using for the rest of this run that does significant damage. We will pick up a few more things later on. Some of them are just utility or are given to us.
I don't care much for those troopers either, but did that
Here we go,
lockback's
normal spaceport. Alright.
Yeah, regardless, like six. Well, we said back in March, we one of the other future runners, Kilo Lombax, started coming into Kraken Time, and he started asking, a lot of the usual questions that, as we mentioned before, people that come in, they start asking questions, and usually they come to the same conclusions about things. But Kilo was someone that came in and started asking questions that all of us at the time kind of thought were stupid, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then we looked into them, and they're like, all of these are viable.
Yeah.
What?
The proximity, so we got the proximity upgrade on the bomb, and like, just in general, that allows us to preset mines for later, like, waves of things. But in particular, it saves a lot of time in the arena segments that are coming up, because when we know where things are coming from, then they can explode like frame 1 after they spawn. And that saves a significant amount of time, even though we have to go out of our way to get the proximity upgrade. And also, there's a few more things that will be coming up on this planet, actually, related to it. So here, we're going to go out of bounds of the arena. We're going to slide on a sign and let gravity get over here. And I'm going to cross this gap, and I'm hopefully not going to fall. That is precarious. I'm going to climb this sign really high. So normally in this segment, we're supposed to help Azimuth feed a lot of enemies and then turn off the security system so we can go to this ramp here. And that takes about like 5 minutes casually. With all of that and our ability to climb the sign, we're able to get high enough to just jump onto the ramp, which takes us into this facility, Pollux Industries. You'll see a site that'll be familiar later on, which is lead grabbing, a really weird part of geometry, and yes, pulls us out slightly. We're going to slide up this cable to take us fully out of bounds. This is another escort section with Azimuth for doing a lot of fighting, except the end of this section is activated with the cutscene that is right there. And that skips a lot more combat. So one of the things we have to consider about this game is we're skipping a lot of fights, aren't we? We're going to be a bit underleveled. And, we've only got 19 HP. We're supposed to have like 30 plus. So this becomes a problem later on, where we're only able to take a few hits because we're skipping any combat that isn't necessary. Here we see a boss. This one, luckily, doesn't do much damage. It's the second boss of the game. But we still have to consider, not faffing about too much and not getting hurt.
Not to mention what you'll see in a bit, in particular with the XP route that still does Warsalon 1, actually has a very convenient setup with the VX99 boss fight that you'll see.
Yes. Although, I'll be able to get it, I think. My XP is a little messed up because I died on Warsalon right at the end, and hitting bosses gives you XP, which is conveniently what causes one of the strats here. When we get to full XP for our health, it'll upgrade it by a certain amount, and also do a huge blast that does a lot of damage in a medium radius around Ratchet. So if we stand close to bosses while our nanotech upgrades, we're able to do a lot of damage to them right away without any cost to our ammo or health. So here, this is just an auto-scroller really. We have to wait until they stop firing the lasers and then turn the bolt cranks to detach them. You realize something. Where's Clank? Where is that toaster? Yeah, our lunchbox is stuck in the Great Clock, and we won't be seeing him for another 40 minutes, unfortunately.
He is stuck in the center of the universe, give or take 50 feet. So yeah, of course, all of these cycles for the legs here with all the spinning and junk are all consistent, so
yeah,
just paying attention to what's going on, and you get through this the same amount of time every time.
Yeah. The only time loss is when, like, I'm off with the fairies and then I just forget that it takes like 3 cycles to do this. And I just stand there as I look endearingly at the bolt crank that isn't being turned. Right, there we go. So once we turn this final one, we get launched over to the second section, which is another combat section. I'm going to take a death here, because that does something for the boss later. So this second combat section is like, it's sort of short, but we're able to skip it. There's something called slope intercept, where if we glide on a particular slope surface for long enough, we're able to get our jump back, and so get like a third jump off a slope surface, which allows us to get just enough height to land up here in this out of bounds area that eventually we will, as we're gliding down right now, we are right there on the VX99. And that skips just Azimuth escorting us down.
So the Death Abuse back there was actually to get the ammo to spawn here. For some reason, if you don't Death Abuse and you skip the fight, the ammo just straight up doesn't spawn.
Yes, which is a really bizarre thing this game. We're able to get it. Yes.
Okay.
So we didn't actually need ammo there, so we could have gone without the Death Abuse. That's really risky.
You didn't get the full experience of the XP strat. Ideally, what you'd have happen is the glass would break open there. All of the damage done from the proximity mines would give you the XP needed to level up, and you wouldn't need to throw any extra bombs because the VX99 would already be dead.
Yeah, it does like pretty much half of his health, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
considerable nanotech boost.
You literally do not. The proximity mines deal half, and the XP literally does enough damage for it to just knock it out.
One of the downfalls is that I skip a lot of enemies. Like I try and minimize anything I can in regards to combat. I do not like combat in this game that much. Aiming is very weird. Your weapon's hitbox influences where it aims, which I don't think is a very good thing.
So, as we mentioned before, Phylax Sector and Corvus Sector are the only 2 sectors that have some of these special features where you can enter a planet and overlap a cutscene. So, we're doing this once again to skip another Clank section.
Yeah. So we have to go back to Phylax every time. Unfortunately, we can't do it in the sector that we're just in. But that is our third Clank section skipped. Oh, sorry. Skips the third Clank section. We did not skip the first one.
You're like, wow, this whole skip takes like 2 minutes to do. Well, the Clank section takes a good 10 minutes. So
yes.
Especially that one. That one for Great Clock 3 is by far the longest Clank section.
Yes. Yeah, GC3 is very long, and we have to do it in the longer categories just for a particular gold vault that unlocks on another planet.
It also has by far one of our funniest oversights when it comes to speeding up gameplay.
Which one in particular are you talking about?
It took us years to realize that you can
This
skip
one.
the text at the start of the planet puzzles
Yeah.
by pressing start. So for
Yeah.
the longest time, we were just sitting and waiting for the text to go away.
Yeah, we saved 24 seconds by, skipping a text box that we didn't realize was skippable. Because, speedrunner, intuition is to mash start whenever you see text, like text boxes.
This game discourages you from doing that generally.
Yeah. But sometimes it works. And when it does work, we feel really stupid for not thinking of it earlier.
It is also the only place in this game that skips text by pressing start.
This is true.
Most of the other places you skip text with circle, but even then, those are the few conversation spots that you'll see in the game. One of them you would have seen back on Quantos, and if you skip them by pressing circle, it's not skipping them, it's just canceling them, which means you need to talk to the person again.
Yeah. Shout outs to ship sections, or ship missions. Gotta let all of them play out, just so you can get missions. Okay, nice, I'm good at this. So Libra is our first and only ship boss fight that we face in this run. We are forced into it after the cutscene exiting Great Clock 3. Nice. We got a double damage as well, this will be helpful. So her motive is just to sort of spin around in circles and fire shots at us, and then destroy some of her Valkyrie ships until she disables her shield. It's a very simple kind of boss fight that incorporates what we did earlier to enter Vorsalon's ship, which is destroy 20 ships, or 25 ships. But here it's part of the boss fight mechanics.
This was really good RNG for the fight, actually.
That was very, very good RNG.
Yeah, I mentioned before that the first ship fight, right before you enter Vorsalon 1, is consistent. This one, this fight in particular, is not. It's not consistent at all.
No, I've gotten many runs where I haven't gotten a damage or a fire upgrade until the very end. Because all of those Valkyrie ships, the pink ships that we were destroying, have a chance to drop power-ups. Some of them can be useless, 2 times bolts, my favorite. But they can also drop kabooms, which destroy all the enemies in your line of sight, and double damage, which, as the name implies.
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah, so...
Go ahead.
Krell is one of the more iconic casual segments of this run. We are going to be doing it in around 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It usually takes an hour, casually. So we're going to ledge grab up through a ceiling, as we discussed earlier, and we're going to go back through the level. These are the caves at the end of the entire level, where we eventually find information about Clank. We're going to hit a checkpoint that is always loaded right before the end of the stage. And just for some reason, on your first visit, when you die here, Azimuth will also spawn with you and allow you to complete the stage. So we're going to skip a puzzle that involves a gadget that we don't have using a double jump, and then we are going to climb up here, except to get annoyed by the stairs. I thought I had those down. Oh well. And here we're going to do much the same, but with a much trickier ledge grab that pulls us up.
So, because of how the goofy way that we laid out this level, you mentioned before about not having a certain gadget there. What we're actually doing now is going on our way to get that gadget.
Yeah. So at that out of bounds, which is very similar to the first one, we're going to this bollard. Normally this bollard will only spawn after, so you'll see this huge section over here. It's beautiful. We have to do 10 minutes of gameplay to finish that segment, and then this dude gives us the Omni Circle, which is allows us to absorb and shoot honey and oil when we enter. Yeah, we skip all of that because once we finish the stage, he just spawns there and is like, yo, you want a free Omni Circle?
Yeah, luckily the game has some fail-safe properties involving the triggers that just allows you to get the Omni Soaker.
Yeah, that one's a really lucky one to have. We require the Omni Soaker, despite most of their puzzles being like trivial to properly skip. There are triggers attached to removing oil off bolt cranks and all of these things that involve the Omni Soaker. I was walking in the wrong direction.
I also want to say that this is one of the menu glitches. You can actually duplicate some items in this game just by loading the game right as you're collecting them. Or, yeah, just like reloading the games right as you're collecting them. Which actually allows you to collect the Omni Soaker an infinite number of times if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, it allows you to duplicate gold bolts. But, why do that when you could just get a ton of Omni Soakers?
Yeah. Yeah, the duplication glitch there, I do the safe method for it, which is whenever you pause whenever you pause in this game, it forces an autosave and you unpause. So I force an autosave and then pause again immediately afterwards, and that's I'll use the classic phrase there. The game gets confused, and it's sort of like how do I appropriately describe this? It's like it's on your file, but it hasn't finished collecting, so it assumes you haven't it assumes it's still there when you load it again. So it's like snatching it in the middle of the collection animation that it needs to finish before it's considered collected, quote unquote.
There's a small overlap between when an object is considered collected by your character and by the world.
Yeah. Here we go. So this is the arena. This is the Battleplex. This is where most of our usage of proximity mod on the bomb will be seen. So there are 4 spots in this arena there, and this one's each. There is a word for this. Yeah.
This section in particular is also actually kind of a later game run killer these days.
Yes.
For the very ballsy people out there.
Yes. Yeah, this first arena is very consistent. Everything's gonna spawn at the same location at the same time. What the enemies do, not really consistent. That they'll jump at you or they'll just wander away for some reason. Spinny camera. And I won't be demonstrating it this run, but there is a glitch that we will do in about 2 more arena segments.
Yeah, I can explain it, or explain the specific scenario for this one after that's happened.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait until we do Return to Sender. And get into the
This is probably the longest of the arena battles, this one in particular.
Yeah,
I think you can... There's some wave skips though, aren't there?
Yeah, I've done a wave skip and a no FM record once.
Which we don't know how those are really caused, but,
No. There's a weird random delay after each of these waves where it starts the second wave or the next wave. Sometimes you just go bang, bang, bang after you destroy the last one. But, it seems that today we're getting huge delays after people after going. So we're waiting here for 4 seconds before the game goes, oh yeah, you've completed the wave, we know this.
Luckily with proximity, you can just lay out all of the explosives before everything spawns. Which is a nice use of time. Yeah. Very easy to run out of ammo during that challenge because there's only 1 ammo box.
Yeah, and all the other ones have 4. So we do have to be a bit conservative with our ammo.
And don't even get me started on hard mode for that.
Hey, well, that's a lot easier
It
now
will
that
be
we
easier
have to.
now. Yeah. You can also duplicate Rhino hollow plan pieces, so you can just get the Rhino earlier in something like
Yeah.
Platinum Trophy.
Yeah, the Rhino is like the super weapon of this game. It shoots a bunch of rockets all at once that do like a pretty good amount of damage. You can just like walk into enemies. Walk into enemies and destroy them pretty easily, even on hard mode. Okay. Okay, he spawned behind me and was like juking me the whole time. Come on, pal. Yeah, this challenge is a bit of a pain because bombs sort of like track where you're going and not where you're at. And the Agorians can be a bit finicky with how they shoot at you.
You're not really getting any glitches, though, at least. There's a lot of...
As you said that. As you said that.
Beautiful. Oh, what?
Yeah.
What the heck? I didn't even see where that one went.
I neither. Alright, I keep forgetting this in runs. I gotta put the shrapnel mod up for this one. Yeah, we get a second mod for the constructor on. The shrapnel mod, which just is like a 300% damage increase. No reason not to put it on. Here I'm going to exit the arena. Pause. So, I'm doing something called arena stacking. I paused while entering the arena animation, and that allows us to press triangle again on the arena platform. And that means it's loading the arena twice. Except when you try and hit a stage, it's like, no, you're still in the menu, so it automatically fails you. But it doesn't get rid of the data from the second, in this case, it doesn't get rid of the data from the second challenge. So you have a bunch more enemies in this stage, and it can like pretty much auto-complete because we're destroying like 5 times the amount of enemies that we're supposed to in that normally like one stage. And the complete requirements for it are messed up as well. And that saves about 15 seconds. Maybe.
So, yeah, as mentioned before, there was something in one of the previous rounds that we could have brought up. It was during the second round, you can actually do a stack during that longer second round and stack the first and second arena fights together.
Yeah.
The issue with this, aside from the positive of it being able to save 20 seconds or so if it goes perfectly, is that if you screw it up, you can just crash your game.
Yeah, and that's not good, especially when we're like 45 minutes into the run. I did not get ammo. No, I was wrong timing for French. Oh well.
Oh. Impossible boss fight.
It's impossible.
One cycle's impossible.
Yeah. So you see the full potential of the shrapnel mod there. It just like it minces the war brush. Poor guy.
I always forget that you can load that early.
Yeah, but it's super sketch. There's been a time where it didn't work, but that was before the like duping mechanics were sort of understood. Because it is part of the autosave sort of stuff. I paused it a long time.
It's just weird because you get the key item obtained after you exit the arena. So
yeah. But the mission, it's all about the mission and not the key item.
True.
To my knowledge. Because it's like, save Quark from the Agorians, and once you save Quark, then a sequence will actually properly activate later on in the run.
Speaking of triggers, you're about to see a level of absolute trigger spaghetti.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird sort of like checkpoint boxes that influence other checkpoint boxes that go on in the state. So you can't go straight to the end of this next point. And by the way, yeah, we're doing another one of these barrier skips since we are woefully underzoned.
I think this one requires 12. We are now at our max zone count of 7.
It's a really long black screen. I've had that before. Old PS3's on its last legs.
Every PS3 is on its last legs.
So our next major double jump that we're going to do is on this planet, and it's right at the very start. It's going to take us about, halfway through the snow segment here. But unfortunately, you do have to go backwards to activate some checkpoint triggers.
More importantly, right after it, we have a much cooler looking, smaller strat.
I'm taking this. Whoa! The game was very gracious there. I'm going to jump on air, and then I'm going to skip some pads. Easy. So yeah, some of these spring pads are not that necessary. They are cool, but you can sort of just glide down anyway. Okay, so we've made it all the way up there, but now we're going backwards. And that's because there's a checkpoint there. And we missed this zoning, which can be a real pain to dodge sometimes. You've got the moves. And we're going to lead grab out and through that wall. Another checkpoint trigger right there. And another set of lead grabs. Yeah, I know, this is a pretty absurd, like, random skip sort of looking thing. But all of that was necessary to activate the button that unlocks this gate here. Which is
all three of those triggers were just to be able to press that one button.
Hey, are you here to help? Praise Nefarious. What can I do for you this fine day? I was planting
another dialogue section. Well, this is the last long dialogue section. And of course it comes from another Fungoid. He's going to teach us how to do agriculture.
Sadly, you have to pay attention during it though, because you actually have to select different dialogue options.
Yeah, sorry, it's horticulture. Scoop up a seed. I can't like do the high register enough to do the Fungoid voice.
Then you scoop up a seed.
Fungoids are cool though. So we have to plant 3 seeds, and we're in the past right now, so we've gone through a portal to the past. So if we grow seeds, what happens in the future? Well, those seeds bear fruit, they bear vines. And you know what we can do on vines? We can use them as grind rails.
Maybe.
Yeah, except we don't need to because we can just make this gap with a single jump.
This is another. It's another case of these triggers. We just needed that to activate yet another trigger in this level.
Yeah, right at the back of this oil derrick, which is named Oil Derrick Kappa. That has no bearing on Twitch chat, I'm sure.
I don't think there's an emote like that exists.
No, there will be nothing like that. So we're getting oil to turn this crank here. Turning the crank is not like purely necessary, but the act of de-rusting the crank is apparently a checkpoint. I don't get why.
Thanks for all your help, stranger. Well, now that our friends are free, we can shut down the outpost and restore the village.
You enjoy working.
So I was down to
Back in the past, 2 years ago, and we get to turn this bolt crank and enter our way into Nefarious's outpost. The antagonist Nefarious, who we haven't actually seen once. Yeah, he's a robot, and he wants to change the past so he doesn't lose to Ratchet and Clank in the past. I find a genius motivation.
This here is probably the scariest bit of combat for me in the entire game.
Because the negotiator sucks. What?
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree. The negotiator sucks. You don't really get enough ammo to kill all of the enemies with what we end up getting during the run, and you get 2-shot.
Yeah. So there is a skip for this combat section, but it sucks, and it loses out on XP. We're kind of XP deficient. Some vitamin XP. That was a really bad joke. So we're going to just farm up a little more here. Nice. That went better than my practice run. Alright, so there was a cutscene there, and we hit the fairies in the head really hard that it affected him in the present. Unfortunately, Clank's dad has left him, and I can't actually remember all of the plot points because the last time I played through this game casually was 3 years ago.
Just that general explanation of, oh, Clank's dad left him.
He's gone to the store.
Went out to go buy cigarettes and never returned.
Yeah. Clank's dad is also Mario.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, he is Charles. He's voiced by Charles Martinet, who is the voice of Mario. So Mario was canon in the Ratchet. Here's Vorsalon 2. It has the best skip, hands down, the best skip in the Future series.
Oh, this 2-minute section here is what I first saw when I decided to learn this game. I decided to learn this game from one of the Golden's 12-hour challenges back in like 2015. I saw this section and I was like, I want to look into this game now.
Yeah. So there is a huge combat section here and a boss fight of Vorsalon 2 that we have to do afterwards. This takes probably like 5 to 6 minutes. We're going to go out on this ledge and just jump around and glide. And we're going to land in a section that is part of the first Vorsalon section. Normally we don't visit this. That's very odd because we can't actually get into the second section now. We're sort of trapped here. There's no doors that open. There's no ledge grabs we can do here. Vorsalon's just chilling. Hey, buddy. So we're just going to fling ourselves at this round, and so I did physics in high school, and this is completely congruent with what I learned about gravity. If you sort of just fling yourself at a wall by side flipping, you can phase through matter, right? I don't want to mention the fact that I barely passed physics.
If you impact an object fast enough, you go through it.
Yeah.
Simple.
So now we have to pull out some burst fuses. There I just did a little thing where instead of going along the mag ramp, I went with normal gravity, and I can do a very precise jump glide that ledge grabs me to where the burst fuse actually is. Otherwise you'd have to pull something down and all these things. I didn't do the second mag ramp thing here because it's slower and harder.
If you get it right, I would think it's faster.
Like perfectly, yeah, but I rarely get the amount of speed.
It's hard to get it perfect.
Yeah.
You can legit get ones that send you past the room.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's also slower because, too far.
Yeah. So third and final burst fuse. We're going to save Azimuth from his gay baby jail. Which he couldn't get out even though it was like... He has his wrench with him. Couldn't he just break open like the cell door?
Hey, he's content in being the damsel in distress. Just let him play the part.
Sometimes, like, your weird uncle has to be the damsel in distress. We're going to just throw bombs at a wall and destroy them. Very nice.
Door won't open until all of these enemies are dead.
Yeah. We have the Groovatron. What now? The Groovatron makes people dance. That is its only function. It also stun locks everyone while dancing. For a very long time, it makes encounters fairly trivial. Only on easy mode.
Also, we We didn't really need Azimuth come with us there. We did
Ratchet
rescue him,
realizes-
but we don't need it.
Yeah. Ratchet realizes his mistake and then jumps into the void, which his noble sacrifice brought Azimuth back. And he's going to turn on a turret for us.
If you actually leave Azimuth back there and never bring him into this area, this turret just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the turret is quite efficient at killing things.
Yes. Very, very efficient. It has a missile system that, quite honestly, makes this speedy as hell. But
using it optimally is a massive pain, though.
Yeah, the lock-on is dubious at best. That one was kind of slow. I lost about 3 seconds on the ship phase. There's supposed to be a cutscene there, but if you hit your ship quick enough, it just overlaps the cutscene with the exiting cutscene.
Yeah, the cutscene's still there. It's just you're also leaving.
It's weird that doesn't break the game.
Yeah, there are many other scenarios where you can do something similar to that, and the game is having absolutely none.
Yeah, it's not having a good time in a lot of scenarios. This game is held together by like a surprisingly strong amount of duct tape, but it is still like, flimsy duct tape.
Were you able to decrypt Vorsalon's flight data?
They're encoded with a double hexagonal
Oh.
It's Sony.
The files was unprotected. It looks like coordinates to the Bernelius sector.
Well, it's not much, but it's our only lead.
Alright, that's enough. We've had a look at
I'll
them.
meet you there. Ratchet out.
That saves in-game time. That's all I'll say about it.
God.
It's funny.
I forgot that was the reason that you would do that. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, you have to wait for Azimuth to finish talking there to be able to get the new sector unlock. So,
yeah.
Just waste some time.
Here. There's crate physics in this game, and
oh, they're wonderful.
They're
if you want to see true peak crate physics, you need to look at Into the Nexus, though.
There are some interesting crate physics in Into the Nexus, and they are consistently interesting just based on what you do in speedrun. But I got something earlier in practice. So there's like springs, spring pads. I had a box land like precisely on one of those, and I used the spring pad while the box was on it. And I watched it just sail into the sunset of Molina. It was quite majestic.
I've actually had moments. There was one clip I got in particular when I was flying to one of the moons in the Vila sector, and as I was landing, you actually saw one of the crates break the orbit.
Yeah.
Like it was gone. You could see it actually orbiting the planet at first, and eventually just slingshot it out.
Yeah, like the little moons in the sector all have like spherical world properties, so they have their own gravity, and it is possible to leave that gravity. So
the other things,
NASA just needs like a team of well-placed brown crates, you know.
The other thing that you can actually do with the crates in very specific scenarios, if you just get yourself wedged in between 4 of them, the game can't figure out where to put you, and it will actually just warp you away. It's very rare to get that to happen, though. But it is something that does happen in the game.
Righto. That is our last Clank skip. And we will be seeing him very soon. It's just, this is...
We will.
Yeah. This is another barrier skip. This one's a bit more precarious because these ones shoot at you if you get close enough. So you do need to do this, like, short amount of time. You can't fail it too much. I'm a bit of a pansy when it comes to these. I don't like messing them up. I can lose a lot of time. I don't know. So, just to explain this next double jump that's coming up, you may have noticed, like when we spawned into the sector, right in front of us was a ship and a planet. That's Wikipedia, where we would rescue Clank. And rescuing Clank unlocks this, like the slingshots to this platform. And well, I'm probably not getting. Oh, I did get them. Interesting. With a well-timed double jump, you can go over to the second section of Nefarious Space Station, normally like only unlocked after getting Clank. And that saves. How long does Wikipedia take in Plat?
Well, Plat's in hard. So, but Wikipedia you can probably complete in like 4 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, you also need the tether for Karina.
Yes.
So it saves
so
a
it's
lot
more
time. Yeah.
The nefarious space station.
Or, you know, you could play it in the reverse. You could always finish this area, then go back to Wikipedia.
You smell that?
And crash the game if you try and rescue Clank twice.
Yes.
I smell something, and it's definitely not drama.
So this is Nurse Shannon. Not related to Captain Quark.
The hottest woman in the universe.
I mean, look at those bags. We can also stand on her head. For some reason.
Aching, arms burning, calves looking good.
Yes, I got it. So the camera's locked, so we're not able to do much in this grind, like crashing back a second. You can just like jump up here and become invisible. See that there is actually nothing pushing these brushes. We mentioned enemy headstands earlier, and we will be seeing one just here. This one is a lot easier.
I see you're not going for the Death Abuse strat.
No, I don't see. I don't think it's worth it because we can. Well, I don't. Because I go over to get the nanotech and all this stuff. One death there doesn't matter.
Yeah, the reason I mention a Death Abuse is there are 3 ledge grabs here, and if you actually Death Abuse, the 3 out of bounds ledge grabs turns into 2.
Yeah. So I'm just getting bad positions here. I need them to damage me out of this position, and I stand on their heads. This one should do if I'm... Yes. Excellent. That's very difficult to get. Taking damage there forces an animation where they spin, and while they're spinning, their standable hitbox is a lot higher. So, not a lot higher, but just like more surface area. And because of that, we can double jump over to the barely ledge grabbable as there. Here we can press triangle at this air vent and without disabling the lasers. I don't really get why that works.
Where are you, Lawrence? Yes, sir. Was there
something you said? So now we are Dr. Nefarious. He's been slimming down as of late. But I think he looks good.
Got it. How do I do that?
I'm not 100% on that one, but I'm sure you'll think it's
Not going for Quark walk.
It's not really that worth it.
I don't think it's worth it in any percent. It's another one of those funny looking things though.
Yeah. You can get it without Quark dance, but it's rare. There's like what we're talking about is the thing where Quark But there's a combat section coming up in this room, and Quark will just run to the elevator right away if he's with you in a particular spot.
Is quite capable of clearing the debris. Say, would you like to test it out?
So, Zarius has one mortal enemy. It's not Ratchet, it's Asteroids.
Sorry, Shannon walk.
Yeah, Shannon.
When you walk in.
I mean, the disguise is completely worn off by that time. I forgot to add this one. Not this one. That one.
Take him away!
Sorry, pal.
Sir, I apologize, but I must intervene.
It can be hard to forget to eliminate him.
Yeah, I'm definitely like autopiloting this section. I do not enjoy it that much.
For the longest time, I just had him walk away. I never thought about killing him because I didn't think he could.
I don't know. I think it was Duff's Engine Plus wrong. I think he did it. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably faster. I think it is by like a half second. It also is much funnier. So
yeah.
And I tried comedy value in my speedrunning.
Stuff such as skipping the first boss fight because you don't have to do it.
Yeah, but also
except
like,
you don't do that one.
Yeah, I don't do that one because, you know, going sprint swinging in the air has a cool thing.
We need to access the elevator.
Alright. That was not awful, not great. If I had to guess, this run is on pace for a 104 or a 105.
What the heck? Mission accomplished.
Real time, I don't know what the pace this is.
Good enough.
Good enough. I haven't made major mistakes. I've just been marathon playing, I think. This game at a top level, you're really maximizing how little downtime you have between like killing enemies and all these things. It's sort of an infinitely optimizable game, just because of the nature of the platforming and the combat sections.
We do not have a lot of time.
And I won't say I'm the best at it. I might have record, but that doesn't mean anything.
Chief Zahn Gribnak was... Oh, if only Zahn had been here to defend...
Some of that cutscene. So, we've been launched to a planet in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to the past to save its glory, because it got totally owned by a warrior civilization, the Eldorians. I don't need to buy anything, because this is not AGB. It may look like AGB, but it's not.
AGB, actually, probably the Rift Inducer 9000 there. Or is it not AGB?
No, I don't buy the Rift in any category.
Okay.
It was just theorized because...
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the other things that Killer Lombax was trying to bring into the run. It was bringing in the Rift Inducer. It's just so expensive.
Yeah, it's 92,000 volts, and we only have 62,000, and that's with discounts, which aren't like traditionally allowed. So here, I'm going to re-equip the proximity mod. These are Hydra tanks. Hydra tanks have an invuln phase where you have to pull out a Versa fuse. But if you put some bombs on them during this invuln phase, they'll instantly explode once it's done. So you'll see here. I don't like this. Okay, I got rid of the shields. So there's a very weird quality in this game where shields take precedence over the Hydra tank versus users. And I need to make sure all the shield enemies are out of sight before I take down this enemy's HP. Otherwise, it's going to try and hit shields that are out of line of sight. And I can't do that because the wrench doesn't go that distance, and it just doesn't. doesn't like to get. So I got bad phases there. If he goes into the air, you need to wait for him to land on the ground into a shockwave, which takes a few seconds. He does the fire beam attack. It's a lot shorter and usually cancels it. So here we're doing more seed planning for the future. You may remember that we did not use the vines in the first section, and I'm happy to say that we also do not use the vines in the second section.
No, we do.
Well, okay, so now let me rebut with the fact that this vine is always loaded in.
Yeah, true.
It is of no consequence of Ratchet that vine exists. It just gets a paint job. So here we go. I was gonna do the invisible glitch, but I decided that would be a bit of a headache.
You can actually get it to trigger in a different way as well, actually. Or there's the optimal way that actually saves time, and then there's the other way where you just completely hinder yourself and that's it. The optimal way is right as that cutscene plays where it's showing the teleporter, or showing the time rift, you enter it.
That's the one.
And if you enter the time rift at the same time as the cutscene, it just causes everything to fit, everything visually to deload, so you can't see where you're going. The other way to do it is if you just hit the teleporter, or I keep saying teleporter. You hit the time rift right when you jump onto the vine right at the end there. Like if you just jump, you barely nick the portal and then enter the boss fight, it deloads everything as well.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that other method. Probably the traditional method.
Well, the traditional method's actually fast.
Yeah. Right,
so in the middle of that boss fight, or like right before it, you probably also noticed that Mob went into the pause menu and went into the options. So something that this game doesn't actually tell you is that it has a scaling difficulty. So as you play the game and you're playing well, all of the enemies will start dealing a bit more damage, and you'll start having to deal more damage. And what you can do to fix that is you can just quick toggle the difficulty, and it brings it back down to whatever its base value was at.
Yeah. Difficulty in this game has different scales. So there's the base difficulty and the adaptive difficulty. And let's say like if easy is 1 and medium is 2, the game will like sort of scale it in decimal points afterwards, making it just that little bit harder, but not quite up to the next difficulty state. So let's say I was at like a 1.5 going into that fight. That would make Argos 3 hit me and would be very painful to fight against. So I change it back down to a 1, or like the complete base difficulty of casual. Maybe I just am a casual.
We are casuals. We're all playing on casual difficulty.
Oh, I get to demonstrate this. So, I'm going to buy the plasma striker. The sniper rifle. And you know, and you do with sniper. I'm going to die to the proto-manas. That's embarrassing.
Well, traditionally, we don't really grab the plasma striker there. That screwed some things up.
I don't have a timer in front of me, so I'm just going to count. You explain this.
So, right now, the platform's actually moving. You can't see it. You should maybe still be able to hear it. I don't actually have sound on, so I can't really say for sure. But either way, staying in a quick select menu does not count towards your in-game time. So quick grabbing the plasma striker there is actually faster.
Yes.
Just for that little bit.
It's like more important thing about it is it removes the one version difference between the game. That platform travels 18 seconds slower on PAL compared to NTSC. So with that, because you're only dealing with saving in-game time there, it's completely parity between versions now. I'm going to do another one of these difficulty switches.
That's fair. You do take a lot of damage in this fight.
Yeah, and also your health is kind of necessary.
Yeah. You'll understand soon about what we mean by health being necessary.
Yeah.
Aside from for taking just general hits.
Yeah, so we have to travel around this ring and dodge Nefarious' attacks. We're going to go 1/4 and then realize we're bored with him and run backwards. And, you know, Nefarious considers that a fair move. He still wants to fight us, so he disables the laser. Or you can just sort of explain it as it only counts 1/4 before there's like an activation spot at the beginning of the stage that triggers the next phase. Negotiator might come in clutch.
By the way, in case you guys didn't notice, this happened back on Warclon, but we do have Clank.
Oh yeah!
Clank just kind of spawns on your back as soon as you finish Nefarious Station. And we did actually use him for a high jump.
We did actually use him for a high jump.
That is the only time he is useful in the entire run.
Except you can also do it with a slope intercepts though.
More importantly though, you can long jump with Clank.
Oh yes, I can do long jumps here.
And
so you know how fast the hover boots are, right? You're gonna be mind blown. It's so slow.
Yeah, so long jumping in this game is pretty much the same speed as walking. And I took a look into it. You actually jump farther with a regular jump than a long jump.
What I did there was the same as I did for the second phase, except I just went around to the front and just waited out the UFO to come towards us, which finishes that segment. Ooh, good Nefarious one. Fighting with the Nefarious. Lawrence needs to get me later. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate for a while there with the laser.
Yeah, he was really taking his time. Not the best. Lost about 7 seconds there. World's fastest movement mechanic. It's mainly because we can't switch to the thrust attack, which is another like modification that Clank has in other games. Because in the previous game with Clank, which is Tools of Destruction, long jumping with the thrust attack is pretty powerful. You can go pretty fast with it. But in this game, he is only useful when he's by himself. Like right here. I will take this time to mention that Ratchet is currently dead.
Yep, Ratchet's dead.
R.I.P.
Feels bad, man.
Feels really bad. You know, you hate to see it. Zero's growing up. He's back.
It was only a dream.
Only a dream. Only went back in time.
Can't help but notice he didn't go for the strat right at the start of the grind rail section.
Oh, it's a pain. It's like a 2-frame. It is the most tragic strat.
Is a 2-frame window. It is incredibly risky.
Takes 6 seconds.
And then there's another kind of risky strat up here that saves 1 second.
I will never do that in runs. And you will never do that.
I always do it in runs.
You will never do it in runs.
Alright, I'll never do it in runs.
Take me.
Except for when I do runs.
First we need to route plat.
Yes, we need to route plat. See, to see the true definitive way of how to fight a boss in this game.
We're going to walk up to his invisible hitbox.
Quantum tunneling initiated.
So, Azimuth just gets instantly unlocked. That's what happens.
Also, time is coming up pretty shortly.
Yeah, time is coming up in about 10 seconds or 7 seconds. 3. No, 3 again. I'm missing a little bit. 2. 1. And time.
GG.
GG, nice.
We do have the in-game timer to look at real quick, though, if that's all right.
Oh, sure. It's about a minute or so out, I think, Mobius, you mentioned.
Yeah, it's just a bit under a minute.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I don't know what the real time for that was.
I'm thinking a 104 still.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think you held consistently enough since when you mentioned time last time.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But, that was really good, though. I'm glad a lot of those things went right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I thank everyone for watching, because it's always good with an audience.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Mobius, for running this game for us here on Time Capsule. And Wed, thank you for commentary as well.
Thank
been
you
a
for hosting
pleasure.
us. Yeah, we appreciate it. Love to show off this game. It is
Absolutely.
definitely a hidden gem of Ratchet speedruns.
I do want to mention, too, to our viewers watching, if you did enjoy this run, please make sure you follow our runner, Mobius, on Twitch. That's Mobius spelled backwards, so twitch.tv/SUIBOM, as well as our commentary for today, that is Wed SR. Make sure you do that.
Okay. The in-game time, 104.10. That's about a minute off record.
Oh my gosh. That's close. Very
Yeah.
nice.
This one's pretty consistent overall. So
Yeah, other than the death on Vorslon 1, like, it was a good pace. I was just playing like safe, marathon safe, you know.
I mean, sometimes that's the best way to do it, but I think Ratchet and Clank especially is just like a very action-packed run. Like, there's so much going on. It's really cool to watch. So again, thank you so much for running this for Time Capsule.
It's so good. Every game has something unique. Do you want me to? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
So there's a Ratchet and Clank speedrunning Discord. You can go to speedrun.com/rac, RAC, and it'll be on the sidebar, just saying Discord. And you can check out any of the games in the series. Like, all of them have something special to them. So if you played them as a kid and you want to just pick one up, I'm sure there will be people that will help you run them. And any other shout outs is just like, the previous any percent record holder, Lombax999. He's like a really good runner of this game, and definitely the trailblazer for this category.
Nice. Wed, anything to add?
Well, I don't really know at that point. I mean, Mobius mentioned like the major people. I'd like to thank everyone in the community as a whole just for keeping up, working on this game. I hope we can keep bringing everything down, maybe find some new stuff.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being so welcoming to everybody, potential Ratchet and Clank speedrunners. And I just want to let you know, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Time Capsule. We do have a few new shows coming up over the next few weeks, such as Bargain Bin, which is a show about speedruns for games costing less than $20, and a show called Speedruns from the Crypt about spooky horror games. So both of those will be here on the GDQ Twitch channel starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you missed any shows or want to revisit past events, just go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick to check out the VODs. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, feel free to follow us at twitch.tv/GDQ. A huge thank you to all of our subscribers for making this show and other Hotfix shows possible. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you next time.